Hi, hello, nobody panic, I'm here. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, hang on, I gotta do my bit. Yeah. Hello there, I didn't see you come in. What's up, folks? Hi.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
I'm feeling a deep malaise.
Mood.
I am rapidly coming under the opinion that perhaps the seasonal depression has finally... No, that's not it. It's that I'm in a social space and I'm not talking to anyone.
Oh, I see.
Because I don't like anybody.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I've been in this situation many times, but typically by choice, because I'm not a very social person usually, so I get you. I get you.
No, I just hate all my peers.
Considering what you have told us about them, that is also fair.
Thank you. I like to think so, too.
So, we're going back to space. It's been a while since we've been in space.
I don't know. How long has it been?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's been a while. It's been over a week, I think, because we've been playing SnowRunner.
You have been playing SnowRunner, yeah.
Which I have been enjoying quite a bit, but I just didn't feel like
it's a good video game.
It is quite good. I just didn't quite feel it today. Instead,
suffering again.
Always. You know this about me.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately.
So anyway, I was going to do a bit where I was going to switch back to my other ship, but I left my other ship a very long way away, and I don't feel like flying back to it to do the bit. So instead, if you will bear with me for one moment.
Bear many moments. I can wolf them too.
Hang on, game capture? Hello? Game capture?
Game capture?
Game capture.
Game capture.
The game's running game capture. Why isn't... Hang on, I need to go into studio mode. Hang on.
Don't you
Hang
love on-site troubleshooting?
It's real good. Okay, yeah. Any full screen application. So that should... Unless... Is the transform messed up? No. Transform's fine.
In order to keep main traffic flow smoothly, please follow standard operator procedures and request docking permission before entering the starport.
Hello? Why is game capture messed up?
Technology.
This is stupid. Yeah, there it goes. I had to manually change it, which is not ideal. I don't like doing that. It should just be capturing whatever's full screen. Whatever. Anyway, hey, look, we're in space. We're in a different ship now. We're in... fucking Brick.
Yeah.
Can I get, like... Is there, like, a status panel I can look at? Yeah, there you go. We're in this thing. We're in this, this flying pancake.
Hell yeah.
It's the keelback. We talked about it a couple streams ago, but that was, like, over a week, so...
If I remember correctly, this is Deneb's favorite ship.
Curiously, it is, yes. I have never flown one before. I mean, I technically flew one because I had to fly it here from the other station. We're currently at Jameson Memorial, which is a place I normally don't like to go. I don't like it. But I went here to find some modules that I was unable to locate in other places. But, yeah. Beyond that, I have not flown this ship a whole lot. It has a very different maneuvering profile from what I recall, which should be interesting. It handles a little weirdly, which is cool. It's got an okay cockpit. It's not as weirdly bare as the Asp Explorer, so it's fine that it's kind of just a table. I like the struts around here, and I like that there's just this co-pilot seat right over there. Will anyone ever be in it? Who's to say? Who's to say? Anyway, this shares a lot of bay sizes with the Cobra, so I moved over everything that was applicable. We'll have to redo our sensors. I think the sensors we had lightweighted, but that's fine. That's easy. And everything else we just never really got around to in the Cobra in the first place. I have a build in a tab on one of my browser windows, one of these. One of these. I'll find it later if we need it. Point is, Galaxy's our oyster. What do we want to do? Also, this thing doesn't have a name. I couldn't think of a name for this thing. Sorry?
Rick and Fucker.
Nah. Needs something special. Something like... Well, if I could just rattle one off like that, I would have named it. We'll see what comes to mind. For now, it is, nameless.
Don't worry, I'm going to get the bitch. What's the name of the ship model again?
It's a keelback.
Thank you.
Boy, the, Boy golly, them dang Thargoids, huh? Look at that. They're just, all over the place.
Romantic bovine.
Romantic bovine.
Romantic bovine.
Romantic bovine.
Something has happened.
What happened?
The Earth has shaken. Carmen Alamigo is no longer a Lalafell.
What? What? I'm sorry?
I don't know.
What? Hold on. No, 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 no. That's not. You're lying. That's impossible.
Add her. Make her post it.
There you go. Romantic bovine. We'll just do that for a while. Anyway, beyond that, I really got no idea what to do beyond just kind of follow our heart, follow our nose. I will be picking up some limpets before we go, so otherwise I would absolutely forget them.
I think you should steal shit.
Great, good news. Shinrarta Desra is a great system for farming high-grade emissions. So, plenty of stuff to steal. Well, I can do one of those. I like the boost sound in this thing. It's, substantial. It sounds like it shouldn't be doing it. It sounds like it hurts.
Probably does. Are you okay with that, Cal? Are you okay with hurting your ship?
Hey, I've said before that one of the things I like best about the Cobra is that when you boost, you can hear bolts rattling around. Listen, if man was meant to fly through space, he'd have fucking rocket boosters for legs. Everything we do out here is already a nightmare. Anyway, check this shit out.
Photo deployment sequence initiated.
You see this? You see this shit?
It's purple.
We have a deployable fighter.
She posted. She posted.
Oh. Mother of God.
End of an era. Only such an adjustment. Because she does it really, really good every time, but then just out of nowhere one day, yeah, no, she's a different thing now. And you just.
God, the little hat. Oh, that's really good.
She's very good about that.
That's really good. Yeah, she has very good taste in hats. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, right, we have a fighter now. We have a little deployable ship. Look at this thing.
Oh shit, are you piloting that?
Yeah, I'm just flying around this little tiny ship. There's our big ship right here.
Hell yeah.
It's on autopilot. I don't have, like, I didn't hire a pilot, so it's just kind of gonna sit there like a lump when we're not in it, which is fine, because spiritually that's really what it is. Just kind of a lump.
Yeah.
There are people who load up the keelback with turrets and have their hired pilot snipe at enemies from outside of range or whatever, but that seems like a lot of setup, and I didn't feel like doing it. But yeah, this sucker right here, ship-launched fighters are fast, maneuverable, and quite powerful.
So it's a decent weapon.
Yeah, it's
Valuable
it's pretty
asset
cool.
to your armory.
Yes, if we wanna do some fighting, this will let us do some fighting. If we wanna do, I don't know, just like fuck around, just like fly and just like look at stuff, we could also do that in here. Anyway,
Fighter retrieval sequence initiated.
we also have to dock manually, which is cool.
Fighter docking sequence initiated.
There you go. It's a little more active than docking the SRV, which I like. Look at that. Seamless. That said, I still really wish that just like I could get out of that, go through that door at the front of the hangar, and then just go into this room. The fact that they didn't put interiors in is cowardice of the highest order. That's a decision that is, I'm sure, still haunting them. Much like how our crimes are still haunting us. I'm sure that will never become a problem. So,
Frameshift drive charging.
go hunt for emission sources. Let's go find garbage to pick through.
You know what they say? One man's trash.
One man's trash is another man's also trash, but this other man is neurodivergent and finds things, certain things interesting that others do not. That's what they say. That's the full saying. I need to
Yes.
change the audio. I swear to God, there used to be a master volume in this. Why is this, like, boned? It's so loud. It's so loud. Like, it's probably not loud on stream. Because I have all... Look at this. 50%. 50% in my volume mixer, and it's still loud. Just amazing. I'm gonna crank this down to like, I don't know, 35. Yeah, let's go with that. That's probably fun.
Twitter has become that much more unusable.
I wasn't aware it was to any degree usable at this point. What
It
happened?
never was, but now they got rid of top tweets or latest first.
Oh, they finally just completely got rid of that, huh?
Yeah, now it's a following.
What?
So tweets from people I follow, I guess, but I don't know if it's still actually putting them in the correct order. So who knows?
Anyone still using the Twitter at this point, just like, I get it. I get it. People still use it for networking. Like, there's a lot of people who are just kind of irrevocably shackled to it. And I get that. But also, like, just,
Oh, and they changed the crop. I hate this stupid.
yeah, I'll bet they did. I'll bet they did, because they're just completely hostile to their users. Like, they've always been hostile to their users, but now they're even more hostile to their users. But anyway, it's just, Like, if I was in a house that was on fire, and every minute I was in that house, someone handed me $1,000, I would still leave the house. Because it's on fucking fire.
Yeah.
Simple as.
It is.
Like, I fully recognize that I am in a,
I would not leave the house. I'm afraid.
Yeah, I was about to say, I recognize that I am in a privileged position of not having any kind of following or money or any sort of business things that rely on Twitter. Therefore, I can very easily say we should all be prepared to simply walk into the woods and never be heard from again, but we should all be prepared to simply walk into the woods and never be heard from again.
Miserably.
At any
Even I
time.
now have begun to gain a following on Twitter.
Well, you gotta get them. You gotta get them over to Tumblr. You gotta move. You gotta shuffle those. You gotta shuffle those piggies over.
You know what my screen name is? Have you seen this? Cow?
What? Your
Cow
Tumblr
boat.
screen name or your?
My Twitter. Cow boat.
Hi. Yeah, that's me.
Sir,
Yes.
look at it.
I'm gonna hit a star if I look. Hang on. All right. I'm gonna grab the beacon here and. All right. Fine. I'm looking. What is? Are you talking about your Twitter username?
Yes.
It's CatgirlHell, isn't it?
Look at it. I just DM'd it to you. Look at it. Look at what my screen name is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there you go. You have begun the journey. You have taken the first step.
More than such. It's been like that for weeks, sir.
You know, I don't use Twitter anymore, but I should also change my username to that, honestly. Because I don't think I've tweeted in years at this point. Well, then again, maybe I don't want anyone to connect my Twitter to my Tumblr. Maybe I don't.
Perhaps.
Maybe I don't want that. In fact, maybe I should just delete my account.
I have deleted 2 of them, and I'm waiting for the deletion to
Shield
go through.
drive charging.
Oh, you can't trust that deletion thing, like request delete or whatever. You got to get like there's a utility that plugs into the API that will wipe all of your tweets. You run that first, and then you request delete.
It's miserable.
It's miserable, yeah.
Might buy Potionomics just for the one bitch with the fat tits who's just Noda and Tasty Fudge.
This is the most you thing you've said all day.
Listen to me. There's a
Yeah.
romance option for the character.
Yeah, I know this.
How? I have to.
Okay. Okay.
You know this about me. The last time I met somebody who had made a character that was very much like my own cat girl, everything like that. You understand.
Yeah, I think I get you. Why do I have Ortiz Moreno City favorited and bookmarked?
Oh, geez, something is going on.
Oh, right, I was gonna move there, I think. I don't know why I decided that I was gonna move there. I guess because it's in Tau City? I don't remember. I was up to something last time I was playing this by myself. I think I wanted to... Oh, no, I remember what happened now. I remember. Okay. I have told the story before of I used to be based out of another asteroid base that I couldn't remember the name of, but it was controlled by a theocracy faction, which gives out weird missions that are interesting sometimes. I mean, they're just permutations of the normal missions, but they have funny flavor text. Anyway, I found that station. It's Greg's Legacy in Waranus. And it turns out it's run by a player-owned faction now. It's owned by Null, and I don't like player-run factions. I don't think they fit. They break my immersion.
I understand this.
So I don't want to be based in a place that is going to benefit a player-run faction. I say this with full knowledge that once again, I was the one responsible for getting the goons their player-run faction. That was a mistake. No one should have one. 100%.
I may have to actually dip out. It seems like something serious is going on.
Drive charging.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a friend of mine, I may need to step out, see what's happening.
Okay. Well. Peace. I'll be here.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. She might just be emo. Okay. Okay. I think I know where this is going. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'm relieved. I'm almost certain I know what she's about to start talking about.
Okay.
I know, me and Deneb have some mutual acquaintances who, basically were hanging on by a thread because of their cats, each of whom very recently passed within the last year. One of them got a kitten for Christmas, and the other is currently detailing to me the fact that she came out of work and her car was surrounded by cats on all sides and then just swarmed her.
Huh.
Betsy is a very superstitious individual, and I do not question it because the last time she just sent me DMs in the middle of the day about a prophetic vision, a cyclone hit my town. So.
Yeah, can't argue with that. You know, it's been 20 minutes, but Romantic Bovine is growing on me.
Romantic Bovine is very good.
It's pretty good. Anyway, what the fuck? I was talking about something. Oh, yeah. The other asteroid station. Yeah, I found it. It's not owned. It's not run by that faction anymore, and that faction has, in fact, as far as I could tell, been completely retreated back to their home system. It was the Marroween Theocracy. They're only found in Marroween now. You can't find them anywhere else. They got obliterated, presumably due to Null pushing them out of Warinus. No, was it Warinus? No, that's not the system name. It's like LTT something or other. Warinus is a station in Lave. I remember now. These names are difficult to keep track of. But anyway, they got retreated, presumably as a knock-on effect of that and people changing system ownerships for power play purposes. So that is no longer a station I want to hang out at. I was looking at other asteroid bases. Couldn't really find any other ones other than the one that we were already at. And I don't think I came to a satisfying answer as to where I want to hang out.
I think you're a loner in the universe, Cal.
I think I'm a loner. I'm a loner, a rebel, you know? Nah, but we do need a place to store all of our stuff, is the thing. Regardless of my my distaste of having any kind of material attachment to things, I have accumulated a lot of stuff, and I need somewhere to put it, and I don't want to own a fleet carrier. Like, even if I had the resources for one, I would not want one.
Yeah, this is valid.
It's just like a big blinking sign for I play this game too much. You know?
I mean, I guess, but also, yeah.
It's certainly a very useful tool. Like I've hitched rides on them before, both intentionally and unintentionally. It's a neat little tool. But I just, again, it's like my distaste for player-run factions. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like them, and I wouldn't want one. This ought to be good.
I went to go check out the game because I was like, let me see how much it costs, and I'll look into getting it. Maybe I'll check what's in my account. Tags on this: deck building, dating sim, simulation, capitalism.
That is regrettable. I forgot it was a deck builder.
I love video games.
They're good sometimes.
What exactly is the deluxe edition or whatever the fuck? I don't mind paying $40 if it's good.
As long as
Actually,
I'm in
can I
this
just add
system,
that
I'm
on?
just gonna.
I'm just add that. Yeah, I had a feeling. My friend, she got swarmed by cats. There was a cat in particular that ran up and wouldn't leave her alone. She got in her car, turned on the radio. The first thing was "See You Again" by Tyler, the Creator. She's having a moment. Betsy has wild shit happen to her all the time.
That does seem like a particularly portentous moment. Wait, do I not have Super Crow's Assist?
Ow.
Huh. What's up?
The game that I did alpha testing for is coming out soon.
Oh?
Yeah, season A Letter to the Future. I was very excited the first time I saw a trailer for it, and I actually signed up and got to do some playtesting for it really early on.
Oh.
Comes
Interesting.
out at the end of the month. Very
Cool.
excited. So what else in my wish list is I may need your distractions in the coming days. So actually, this will be an interesting topic, because it's on the mind. Final Fantasy XIV, the new patch released today. I will not talk too much about the patch, because what I wanted out of essentially, I am completely at peace about the game. Everything I want, I have now gotten.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know this, but the Alliance raids are supposed to be about the 12, right?
I'd heard something about this.
Well, and you have probably heard about how everybody was going nuts about Nofika's huge knockers.
Didn't she look like Hatsune Miku?
You're thinking of Minfina.
That's
And
Minfina.
that was making me miserable. I actually expected to hate her. I
Okay.
had very few expectations for the raid. Haloni was badass as shit. I have nothing to say about Haloni. I was shocked Haloni was not the final boss of the raid. She blocked. Like, completely and totally unironically, that was the coolest bitch I have ever seen in any piece of content in the game. She rocked.
Okay.
She felt less like a Final Fantasy boss and more like a fucking Elden Ring boss.
Uh-huh.
That fight ruled. But Minfina was actually the final fight, and the key thing, the one thing, you know that I have put so much stock and effort into my cat girl. You know, I adore this. I adore this little fucking horrible, depressed, hates God and everything in the world, but can't stop herself from constantly helping people cat girl.
Yeah.
Ready to engage.
You know that I have built her into Mooncat, Alamegan, Mixed Kid, portent of cosmic destiny, hates it.
Yeah, that seems right.
Minfina's theme. This happened in the previous Alliance raid. They get vocal tracks actually that are related to both the gods and their relationship with mankind. The last one was Nalthal, and we got In the Balance. This time around, we got Menfina and what was it? What was it? I have it open right here. Dedicated to Moonlight.
Hmm.
Dedicated to Moonlight
I see.
is a variation on the Locks. Do you remember the Locks, Cal?
I do remember. I remember that place having very good music.
Do you remember what expansion the Locks were in?
That was in Stormblood.
And do you know where the Locks were?
I mean, they're in Alamigo, yeah.
Cal, this is the second time now where I just suddenly felt like I did it. I understood. I win. I win. The game is about me. Fuck you.
Incoming message.
That is an interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely curious. You know that we ADHD people, we have horrible audio processing disorder. I can make out less than half of the lyrics in that song. I am waiting for someone to post them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know actually what the song itself is about. But when I was doing the raid earlier with Adelaide, we just each picked up on the fact that, wait a minute, we have heard this song. We know this song. Where is this song? Like I immediately picked up on the like that's the theme you hear all through Alamigo, the actual dungeon. And so hearing that from Menfina,
That is an interesting and specific choice. They never really
very
reuse.
specific choice.
They never reuse motifs like that unless it's significant.
Exactly. When motifs come back up, it means something. And that was why it was like really wild to suddenly hear it. Like, I'm genuinely curious what the fuck is going on, because why is Menfina using an Alamigan theme? Why
Is
it
Menfina
tripping?
normally associated with Alamigo? I don't
No,
remember the lore.
She is not. Okay, so here's the deal, right? The 12 are the patron deities of specific city-states and/or peoples. Nofika is the matron. She is the patron of Redania. Azema was once the patron of Sildir, which was one of the, I think it's the, the precursor to Ul'dah.
Oh, the Necromancers, right?
No, that's Nightfall, and they are the traitors.
Oh, right.
They deal in coin and death, and they are the current patron deities of Ul'dah. But Sildir, which was their precursor state, was overseen by Azema. She is now the patron of Seekers of the Sun.
Ah.
Right? We haven't met the water ones. We haven't met Lim Lane, or is Lim Lane the navigator? Or am I thinking of something else?
I believe that is. That sounds familiar.
Yes, we have not met her, but that's of course the pirates and Lim Silamensa.
Incoming message.
And then you've got Thaliak. Alphino quotes him by name several times because that's the knowledge guy. So that's Charlian. Menfina, Haloni is the one who oversees Ishgard. She's the Fury, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Fire God is just the patron of craftspeople in general. Ralger was the patron of Alamigo.
Oh, yeah, that's the guy.
Menfina is the patron of the Keepers of the Moon. And people began to, and this is crucial, Menfina also has Dalamud, right? Dalamud is her loyal hound, now called her bastard hound in the aftermath of the calamity, because Dalamud is what fell on Eorzea.
Yeah.
Expired.
What happened to my limpet?
I don't know what happened here with it.
My limpet, it died.
No, that's horrible.
What happened? But yeah, the moon fell.
Yeah, but Menfina is the lover, and she is commonly associated with, it's just a common thing that people who have lost their way turn to her as a kind of motif, but she is also the goddess of the moon, and thus keepers of the moon.
Yeah.
I personally feel like, there's nothing more for me to get out of it because they didn't actually really do anything with it. I feel like if there was at any point a point where like your the god you choose in the character creation screen should matter, it's when dealing with these quests, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be the how do I put this? So this is the other thing I found out recently, right? I am satisfied with everything I am ever going to get out of Final Fantasy XIV ever again because I got this song. And I don't need anything else. I have fucking Vana Airy side by side, and I have that. And it's just like the game has validated all of my narrative decisions with my character. I no longer care about anything it ever does ever again. Right? Which may sound strange, but this is based on a different piece of information that I got recently. Guess what I found out, Cal?
What?
Natsuko Ishikawa, the lady who wrote the Dark Knight quests and Shadowbringers and Endwalker, right?
Yeah.
The one who, like, her writing has just been making everybody go batshit for the last, like, 3-4 years. She's no longer working on Final Fantasy XIV.
I'm sorry, what?
She is not the head writer currently. She is not the one who's been writing the patch content.
What happened? That she's
just moved on.
Huh. Okay, so they didn't push her out or something.
Yeah, no, it's not an Evilise writer sort of deal, where she did something and everybody got sick of her shit and now she's gone. Ishikawa's beloved by the community, and they made a point of it that she advised some of the writing decisions on the current Alliance raid patch.
Well, yeah, like, I
Literally, that
mean,
was it.
I
They made
didn't even...
sure people knew that.
I didn't even finish the expansion she wrote, and I was still very impressed with it. Like, yeah.
Lady,
So she just moved on. They didn't shuffle her over to Final Fantasy 16 or whatever, right?
No, I do not think she is writing that. Maybe she's writing 7.0, and thus she is not associated with the patch content at the moment. But she is not the one who's been writing it.
Oh.
And
I thought you were saying she'd left Final Fantasy 14 entirely.
I'm not entirely clear on it. What I know is
Uh-huh.
she's not the one who's been writing since 6.0 ended. And that changed a whole lot of shit for me, because if she has gone outright, I do not expect this game to ever pander to me in that way ever again.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
But if she is around, I then expect to not really enjoy anything until 7.0. Is the main thing. That's the big one. Yeah, no, she oof. Lady. This lady's so good at her job.
Knows how to write a dang Final Fantasy.
Lady knows how to write a good goddamn story. Right, she was the one who wrote the Kurthus quests in 2.0, 3.2 and 3.4 patches in the main scenario, so that would have been Heavensward. The Doman half of 4.0, the part that everyone liked.
Yeah.
Binding Coils.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Rogue Quests.
I never did
Crystal
those.
Tower, Omega, and Dark Knight.
Weirdly, the story of Crystal Tower left me kind of cold. I don't know why. I think I was just having a bad time because I was being carried through them by who shall not be named.
No, I brought it up to somebody today, and she was like, I think if I had somebody who was explaining it to me, I would have hated it that much more. And I was like, you say that.
There was certainly a point where being carried through stuff was no longer novel.
Yeah, no, it got...
Because it entailed listening to an explanation of everything that was a reference to anything else. But anyway... Well, hello, welcome back to space. How's it going?
I heard there's a keelback, and
there is. It's right here.
I need to turn off Twitch too. I need to turn Twitch away from GDQ in order to determine what this supposed keelback is doing.
You can open multiple tabs.
I'm having a lot of trouble opening anything right now on Twitch. GDQ is happening if you haven't heard.
I've heard.
I may have heard something about that.
I let the girls talk me into changing away from classic Carmen.
I saw. It was an interesting choice.
Yeah, you know, new characters have some. You have to move on for it a little bit before you can really get a good feel for how they work.
Yeah, it feels so sudden. I remember just like a couple weeks ago, new Carmen with new hair, and
That was months and months ago because I haven't played actively since I unlocked those old hairs.
well, I didn't get to see them. Damn.
It's fine. I changed to drill hair on a whim, and it's not really that big of a deal. But because the drill hair is actually not an unlocked hairstyle, which made me feel a little goofy because I had spent a lot of time unlocking the other hairs. But no, you know, characters just stagnate sometimes. You don't have to make it a whole thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. And as soon as this
cows-
collector, huh?
Just like Cow's toxed over, so if Cow ever pops in on Cow Goro again, she's gonna be a huge fucking cat. So,
Yeah, but
Oh, I never said I would Fantasia.
okay.
No, I just
But
said
also-
that like my return is contingent on Squeenix's cowardice.
Recreate the fucking Kirsten Stewart Hooters picture, but with a bunch of huge cat women.
Precisely.
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 if he does, we've had literal years to prepare for it.
A year is a unit of time measurement.
Yes, and it's one of the larger ones relative to the human lifespan.
Not that long. But no, it's just I'm getting bored of the MMO in general, and so the only real way you can have more fun once you hit the point where it's just a dress-up game is to either devote more of your life and time to it or to change something up in some way. And I've already got a character framework set up for allowing me to change stuff out whenever I feel like it, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
bored.
Cal,
didn't
I
want-
went and I found the tweet. For those who want Natsuko Ishikawa, she said that she's going to pass the torch to other writers on FF14 after Endwalker. So I think she'll have the opportunity to work on future projects such as 17 or 18 in the next 5 to 7 years. So she is not currently working on the patch content for 14. She's not going to be writing the next MSQ. She is not working on 16.
Huh.
That's
And-
good. 16 looks like it's gonna fucking bomb out.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, that looks like a real stinker. Anyway,
But like once I found that out, I just completely made peace with everything about Final Fantasy 14. If every expansion from here on sucks and I just stop playing at some point, I will be completely fine with it because I'm very aware of what I actually got out of the game and who was writing it in a way that made me enjoy it. And she is not there anymore. And it became, I could immediately feel it.
It's
the big thing, because I thought that Ishikawa was still in the writer's room, and me and Daneb have had this conversation about how we felt like the game suddenly felt very, very stale. And I was like, I don't know why they would have Ishikawa go back to writing this. Why not, put her on something else?
We've known for a little while that they have a specific image for how they want the game to go that allows it to be a sort of forever game where they don't want you to have to buy in on a lot of external stuff, and they don't also don't want to make it so that you're losing out if you're not
Ready to engage.
constantly playing the game. And that changes how they do a lot of the lore. Like, they're not going to make big sweeping changes. Like, Gridania is never going to get like a visual or graphical overhaul that changes.
And after
like,
this, and especially after this patch and what goes on in it and what the themes of it are, I am fully aware of that, and I've just kind of given into it. I am now fully accepting, no, they are never going to touch Gridania or anything going on with the Dusk Whites or Moon Whites. ever. They're not, because they had the perfect opportunity to do it several times in this patch content with this Alliance raid, and they have deliberately not done it.
It's not something they're interested in telling a story about, and I think probably Ishikawa leaving is just a sign that it's not going to loop back around to that at this point.
It's
I would
ne-
expect-
it's further.
What
than
I would
that,
say before you write it off, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here because we've relitigated this forever and it's not a big deal. But like the what I would say is that this does mean that when they said they want a new adventure, it's probably going to, the next continent is probably going to be as much involved in like that whole new ecosystem as Heavensward was, where like almost all of Heavensward and almost all of Heavensward's patch content you did in Heavensward.
yeah.
Whereas with the new stuff, I mean, like, for other than the raid, there's no reason to ever go back to Elpis. There's just nothing to do there. There's no new story content. There's nothing that's going to be happening over there. We haven't been back, and we're probably not going to be back. There's the Dead Ends has kind of its own little self-contained thing, but most of like the role quests took you back to the old world. Even now, we're bouncing around to some of those older locations when we're doing MSQ. We walk in. The Tataru stuff is all about that. The custom deliveries in the old world, that kind of thing. I think it's going to be a lot more insular than the previous expansion was.
Yeah.
Like less of a global perspective, which is a good and a bad thing. It means it's all riding on whether or not that's actually going to be interesting.
The issue for me is that I'm also fully convinced that I don't think that they can create something that interesting. That may sound like me just tooting a specific writer's horn too much, but when I think back on Final Fantasy XIV and the parts of the story I really enjoyed, Heavensward was pretty okay. It was pretty decent in my opinion. But they the other thing is just the ethos of it. We're no longer the warrior of light, we're just an adventurer, but then we keep becoming the warrior of light or getting pushed into a situation that calls for the warrior of light. 6.1 was supposed to be newfound adventure. Everybody is pretty clearly acknowledging that you have stepped down from some kind of global protector role. Where we are in 6, which immediately gets turned on its head because then we have the Alliance raids where you go and fight the fucking 12.
Yeah, I was about to say, you fight God, like 12 of them.
And then there's like the actual raids where once again you jump back into Elpis to do more shit with the ancients.
Well, the issue is that, okay, Sharlayan is presented as this neutral scientific organization. It outside of Eorzea, it has kind of this saintly reputation, right? Louis Swa came from Sharlayan, and he's a whole known quantity there and that kind of stuff. And he came over and he tried to save the world. And then you get some twists in the late story leading into it where it turns out that Sharlayan's not like that. He was kind of an outsider and he wasn't very popular
At all.
So yeah, it changes the impression that you get, but essentially without going into too much detail, because I'm sure they'll give us good cat ladies at some point. You're going to come in, you're going to see the spaceship I showed you, and you're going to see how that works. Sharlayan is never presented as wrong. Their actions for value-neutral cataloging of a lot of things are just
Never questioned.
Reading knowledge for their own sake and just collecting it. That's not considered an ignoble goal, and it's also not examined critically as for why that wouldn't be ignoble. Because again, games and politics, we don't want to alienate people by explaining their motivations too much.
Which is also really annoying because Alphino in the story makes a point to call his father and the role and the what exactly Sharlayan has done as indolent. That it's fucked up that they have just kind of put themselves and the entire world in this position. And if you kind of step back outside of it,
they decided that rather than raising panic, they were going to evacuate the planet and just decide who gets to evacuate, which is, and this is never brought up in the story beyond a couple of throwaway lines, the same thing Garlemald was doing, more or less. It's a different type of colonialism.
It is a different type of colonialism, and it speaks to a very specific kind of arrogance. Because Sharlayan is constantly presenting itself as, neutral to the point of literally running the fuck up out of continents, as in it refuses to ever deal in any kind of violence, and now it is essentially choosing who lives and dies for the entirety of the human race.
And that's never presented as wrong or examined over critically. So when we get to the part where we're fighting the gods because the gods want to test us, because we came there under Sharlayan's auspices to figure out what the hell's going on with this, like, dimensional space that we found. So we are fighting the gods for the Sharlayan, for Sharlayan, which is a weird thing to look at. And it's like they've created the culture in such a way that they can just go, oh yeah, now they're atheists, even though Sharlayan is also
it has a
dedicated to
statue
one
of
the 12
Thaliak.
here. It's a whole thing. So it's just like, again, like they're not digging down deep on any of the parts that Kaki would be interested in. I don't think we have that much game left in this game.
Yeah, genuinely.
Like we're gonna run out of things to do.
Yeah, I
rapidly.
didn't play Endwalker, and I know very little about it, but it seems like kind of the thing that there's not really any up to go from there.
Lagan.
Yeah.
What I've said. Once you go to the point of fighting like cosmic ideas, it's very hard to wind back down from it.
I mean, Endwalker was a fantastic expansion. I would argue that playing up through Endwalker would justify whatever cost you put into the game. I feel like it justified my sub, it justified buying the expansion new, it justified paying full price for previous expansions, even the ones that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Was like, Endwalker made that worth it. I can't imagine feeling the same way after a future expansion, or at the very least, I could probably buy the next one, but I don't think the one after that is going to hit the same. And I think it's we've hit the Endwalker. I mean, we killed Zodiark. We killed Zodiark at level fucking 83. It wasn't even like the final boss.
It wasn't even the final boss.
It was the first trial.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, he was locked behind as much story as it took to get to the second trial in any previous expansion. It was unbelievably dense. It took me about a week to get through. The people who were rushing took almost 24 solid hours to do it.
Yeah, the those that like really bolt rush the game, even they like zero sleep at all, 24/7, 365, 4 consecutive all-nighters. They still took 4 days. I don't know anyone who managed to finish it in under 4 with like no sleep.
It took me about 7 or 8 days, and I was not stopping for things. I played.
Yeah, no, me and Deneb ran it at the same time. I remember specifically it took us 7 days. It took you 6. It took me 7 because that was the time I had the thing where my brother was in the hospital for the first time. And I didn't get to keep playing that night, and I couldn't get back on after I got home because the whole thing with the queue. But like,
yeah, I recall both of you more or less disappearing. Yeah.
Yeah, we vanished for a week straight, and
I remember sending Cal, because I refrained from sending Cal any messages until the last day when I saw a spaceship, and I was like, in my fucking completely sleep-addled, absolutely deranged state, I went, I know a guy who likes spaceship, and then I sent him like 8 pictures unprompted.
Yeah, you made the right choice.
Yeah, no, I basically vanished for the entire week, and then I hopped back into my server and posted Finn. And they were like, oh, you're alive again.
Yeah, it was great.
That was Endwalker.
Endwalker justified the cost, but if they keep going down this road, it's just not going to be the same thing. I think, legitimately, at this point, this would be the time where if this was another game, you would move on to the sequel. I'm not expecting to spend the rest of my life playing Final Fantasy fucking 14. I already got burned on that in the last couple of MMOs I did. I don't believe in the concept of a forever game, and at some point, this is going to stop being fun. And I'm just looking forward. Like, that'll happen at some point. Until then, it's fine. It's entertaining.
I'm willing to give it up to, 7.0 to see if they do something interesting, but if they don't catch me with the next expansion, I'm probably going to quit. And that's not out of a like, oh, I hate this game, I wish the writers would... No, I've made my peace with the fact that the person that was making everything that I enjoyed, the one who delivered the true narrative payoff for me, she's gone. She has moved on to other shit, and that means I would probably do the same. Like, I'm not going to fucking play Undertale if it's not made by Toby Fox. You get what I'm saying?
I had an interesting discussion about that the other day. I say the other day, it was earlier today as we were talking about this and like other Final Fantasies. But they've done demographic research on this, and the average Final Fantasy player is a straight woman in her like 20s or 30s. So, which absolutely colors some of what they make about it. But the designers for these games are sometimes still make like that's the reason it has a little bit more emotional depth than your average game, right? Because it's meant to appeal to someone else. But that's why you get this constant barrage of like samey sort of pretty boys. That's why we have a lot of Assyrians, and why Y'shtola mostly just exists to be a non-threatening, funny lady.
I see.
It colors a lot of what they do with this and what they have done in some of the previous games, especially the Pretty Boy Road Trip that was Final Fantasy 15, which is essentially
that one
entirely driven on that demographic. Yeah, and if you look at some of the decisions they've made, who have they killed off or sustained out of the story for one reason or another? Like the little blob man that used to go around with the scions, he's not here anymore. The lady that was with him, who was kind of flirty, she turned into a different lady, and then she also fucked off. You know, you don't see the little girls too much anymore, but the two girls that were hanging out are probably gay, but you could definitely view that as just like a growing up making friends sort of narrative. It's all demographically designed to appeal in a certain direction, and it's closing the loop on some of that and some of the crossover appeal. It's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of the stuff I've liked was aimed, or at the very least had a strong secondary demographic towards straight women in their 20s or 30s, but it's something to look at as they make future expansions and as they go forward. We're probably never going to get rid of the subset of pretty boys that we have right now.
Yeah, there's quite a cast of them.
Which, you know, I'm not super mad at, but at the exact same time, like, I appreciate that because of the fact that the game is putting up at least the veneer of some degree of progress, and it is directly appealing to women more so than men, that means the female characters get to wear clothes.
Yeah, like, there is at least
I was
that.
just talking about the Alliance raids, but like, every single boss in the new one has or is a woman. And I told Cal this earlier, Poloni fucking ruled.
Yeah.
Poloni fucking owned.
I mean, yeah, like catering to I can't talk. Catering to a demographic of 20 to 30-year-old women is probably better than catering to a demographic of 16 to 20-year-old men. But anytime... Oh no, my limpet exploded. Oh, no. Fuck. But anyway, anytime I think about demographics driving decisions in anything, I just feel vaguely greasy.
Yeah, because it ultimately is, kind of. It's a market decision rather than a narrative one, or a creative one.
I mean, it's nothing exists in a vacuum, right? But when I think about demographics, I always think about the original Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans was written to appeal to 13 to 16-year-old boys, essentially. It was the equivalent of a shonen manga. It had absolutely... So it featured two teenage girls, which at the time was new. And they actually had like emotional depth, and they had moments. It was Starfire and Raven. Now, there are a lot of reasons why this was unique at the time, but essentially it got a huge crossover appeal for girls who saw themselves in those characters and wanted to watch it. And essentially, there's some doctrinal style of rules in how you run TV where you don't want to compete with yourself. And it was seen as a competition to any shows that they might have aired, which they were not airing, that did actually appeal to the same demographic. That, plus it losing its primary demographic, resulted in them eventually canceling the show, despite it having more viewers every single season that they did it.
There was also the fact that the director was an infamous asshole.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's other factors here. Like, he didn't want to keep doing this because he wasn't getting the acclaim he wanted from the groups that he wanted, essentially.
You ever think about how all systems are inherently corrupt and we should just live in the woods in a fucking cabin? and never speak to
Yeah.
other human beings again.
My man Teddy
Yeah.
used to say that.
Oh yeah, Ted. I wonder what that guy's up to.
What's Teddy been?
You know, I haven't heard anything from him lately. I fear something may have befallen our pal Teddy.
Jeez, I hope he's doing okay.
Man, I hope Ted's doing all right. If I find out that Ted is not doing okay, man, I could just start mailing bombs to my congressman.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that's
If I
why,
speak, they will suspend me. If I speak,
That is why
if I speak.
I'm completely content with whatever I get out of Final Fantasy from here on. Like, I got the one thing that I never thought I could ask for, and that was fucking Alamik and Catgirl leitmotif. I genuinely did not think that was a possibility.
Yeah, it's again, I'm interested in why they made that decision. It seems very specific. It seems like the sort of thing that has had some thought put into it. And I'd be curious how you and the game arrived at like the same intersection.
Yeah, Ichigo, I found the direct tweet. She basically stated she's completely handing over the reins after 6.1, and that was the last time she did anything.
Well, had a good run.
And
Yeah,
there's
I'm
a
not-
huge difference in tone even between 6.1 and 6.2.
6.2.
Yeah.
It's immediate. I know, because that was when I started talking to Den about why the fuck are they having Ichikawa do this, and like, what is the fucking hand of Yoshi P managing? And now we know it wasn't her. She literally wasn't involved, and that's why it doesn't feel anything like her or anything she would ever make.
Simple as. Sometimes sometimes the simplest solution is the solution that is also correct. I don't know.
Fortunate. I really want, but what this has proven is whatever the fuck that lady goes on to do next, I'm almost definitely going to be playing it.
Like, yeah, I would not want the creatives responsible for anything I enjoy to just be shackled to that thing forever. Like, I want to see any. I'm struggling to think of a direct parallel, and I'm not thinking of anything. But like anything that I'm really into, I would want to see them do other things instead of the same
Toby
thing
Fox
forever.
To have to do Undertale forever. The dude's clearly a really clever guy, and I like the things he makes.
Yeah, yeah.
I want him to go and do more things to his heart's content.
Yeah, like that sort of thing, exactly. Like, I occasionally think about Final Fantasy XIV, but like, I'm still waiting. I'm waiting on whether or not Squeenix are going to be cowards, because like that's
They
the
are.
only impetus
She's
by
gone.
which
They are.
they absolutely would. That's the only impetus by which I would just like fuck around in the game for another month, like tops. That's it.
Exactly.
Beyond that, I don't know. The well is just poisoned. I don't know.
I would expect at some point that what they're going to do with this, one of the things that they did with the previous MMO here is the only graceful MMO exit I've ever seen, which has resulted in their players doing it. I don't know if Blossom has probably waxed rhapsodic about Rhapsodies of Vana'diel before, which is the final expansion for Final Fantasy XI, but what it was
Oh yeah.
rather than a true expansion that adds new content, it was a mostly story expansion that made the game significantly easier to play.
Yeah, that's what I feel they should do. But at the exact same time, we also have to consider, once again, nothing exists in a vacuum. There is no way in hell Square Enix's president is going to let this game end.
It's literally the only thing they have that makes any fucking
It
money.
is the only thing making them any money at all right now.
Final Fantasy XIV drops off a dump truck of money, and then Squeenix grabs their
Spends it
snow
on fucking
shovels.
NFTs.
Yeah, and they shovel it into a big furnace labeled blockchain, and then they look expectantly, waiting for it to produce something else, and then they run out of money, and then Final Fantasy XIV backs up another dump truck full of money, etc., etc.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, the good news is that at the very least we've started to see some of that money back in the game. like with like changes in quality of life stuff that they're like, oh, we didn't have time.
Oh yeah, me and Den were a number of tweets have noted that there are a lot more like little updates to animation this expansion. Like people make all these different minute movements.
Really?
And
There's
saw,
a
like,
main story quest where a character just takes a pork bun and rips it in half, and the thing is that it behaves like an actual pork bun.
Oh, I've seen a GIF of this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
it
like
was actually animated and it splits in half and there's shit in the middle and there's textures and steam rising off of it, and then he takes an actual animated bite of it. And if you know anything about animation, you know it is a pain in the fucking ass to animate eating or drinking shit.
it gets smaller. The bit, once he's taken a bite of it, he's got a bite taken out of it. Like, and that is really fucking hard to do. And to be fair, they do it with a camera trick. They pull away after he takes the first bite, and then they make it smaller after the second one, right?
But like,
Yeah.
that's still a lot of effort.
It means they made a brand new model for the smaller one. And that,
Yeah, this is a game in which they used a smaller model of a green hillside as a stand-in for salad in a cutscene.
yeah.
So them making new models for food is something.
And
Yeah.
it's the little things like that that prove that there's still a lot of passion going on in the project. The main thing that I'm just frustrated with at this point is just I don't like playing MMOs, and it's like I had this conversation last time. I have it a lot really when I talk about games, but like I log in and I do my silly little tasks and it feels okay, but it's like I don't really want to be here. I don't care about doing dailies. I'm done with all the story.
Me and Den have the exact same issue for different reasons. I am here for the story, and I do not care about any of the other social aspects. And it is clear that through things like PvP, they're trying to pad it out, but it's just
Well,
not
and
there.
so traditionally, that's how you get people. That's how you make the money. Is people stay subbed, and I mean, like, it's working, right? I mean, I stay subbed during the off season, even when I'm not playing. I was subbed for the last 3 months, and I haven't been playing more than once or twice a month. So, congratulations, that's $15 down the hole. Now, I make that back in like a little under an hour, so I don't feel bad about that. But like, you know, that's how they make their money. Is a lot of people are doing that, and getting them to come back once every 2 or 3 weeks, so they have to stay sub for the rest of the month, is a business strategy. It's not a forever game. It's not as bad as World of Warcraft, which fucking Christ. And like World of Warcraft, Genshin, all these other games that expect you to do near daily stuff in order to participate are a lot worse about it. But, you know, as Square Enix wants their money, they will tighten the rope on that a little bit. But fundamentally, the issue that I have is more just simply like I don't enjoy the gameplay and I don't have anything new to do. Like I could log in and I could do PvP and I could climb the PvP ladder and I could get the PvP exclusive unlocks. Or I could
I'm
not.
not interested. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just like there's
Like
is
even
there,
with the
is there
deep
story
dungeons,
locked behind
or not
having-
the deep dungeons, but the Criterion dungeons that they've started adding, like the main issue with these things is like, yes, there's lots of different smaller story bits to get, but I essentially have to run the same dungeon 12.5 times.
and
Yeah.
And there's no roguelike element to it. It's just the same goddamn thing.
like I've been having fun in the palace dungeons. Probably there's a new palace.
Yeah, the deep dungeons, they're coming out soon. I ran that with Adelaide for the first time, like, I think last week, and it was probably some of the most fun I've had in the game because I like dungeon crawlers, but
The bigger issue that I have with that is that as that's happening, there are aspects of the game that are getting flattened down, like Paladin. Paladin was really useful in that previously, but they've changed how some of its abilities work so that it just doesn't do that anymore. Monk. I used to play
Or
Monk. I didn't play
Blade
Monk in the Palace, but they've changed Riddle of Earth now. So Riddle of Earth previously was a really weird ability. It stacked up to 3. It had like a 40-second cooldown. And you would use it and you would get 3 stacks of a buff. They would go down if you took a hit or if you gave a hit. And they were 3 stacks of 20% damage mitigation. What that meant, though, is that I could use that ability immediately as a 60% damage cooldown. Which that's tank level of endurance on a DPS
Yeah,
class.
yeah, that is.
For one hit. And then, like, a stack goes away, and then it's 40%, which is just normal cooldown, and then after that, you're fucked. But, like, essentially now it's a lot more useful in raid content. It's a 120-second single cooldown, reduces damage taken by 20%, and if you take damage during it, you get a heal over time effect. Now, that is more useful in most circumstances. That's almost inarguable, just because of how the game is played. But it is less fun because now I can't find the niche circumstances where that was a better thing to do.
There are people who have made arguments for like removing even shit like repose, and the thing there is that there's a whole lot of early content that immediately like becomes unplayable.
It's really, really hard to start a white mage. I played Rose Hips not too long ago. White mage has a really fucking hard time with some of the changes they've made before you get certain abilities. Like you run out of MP. You're MP negative now. You didn't used to be spamming your DPS abilities, which means that if you're doing a quest where you don't have anything else to do, you can run out of MP and you can fucking soft lock and lose.
Shit.
You need to have Lucid Dreaming unlocked, and then you need to learn that you need to slam it on cooldown. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really. It's a better tutorial, but Lucid Dreaming is an ability you have to unlock. I shouldn't be having trouble doing the very low-level quests I need to get gear or equipment or move on before I have it, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
But it's just because it's an MMO. If this played like something that wasn't an MMO, I'm absolutely certain I would be having a better time with it.
Yeah, no, if they didn't do the flattening, it would be like WoW, where they just keep adding new stuff that's flatly better, and you just upgrade to a different like ability or whatever.
Well, the thing about WoW,
that's how they do that, right?
Interesting that you bring that up. WoW has consistently felt the need to redo everything every expansion, which has good and bad things. The big upshot, though, is that at this point in WoW, at level 30, you have what is essentially a complete kit. You have the equivalent of your max level rotation, or very close to it. Some things change as you get on there, and there are like little powers. Like you tend to get, so in Final Fantasy XIV terms, you would have all of your spells and weapon skills at level 30, and then you would get all of your cooldowns later. So, and they would just be straight damage buffs. So this does, like, this increases your melee abilities damage by 100% for 6 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
I was always under the impression that they just added... I cannot fucking speak today. I was always under the impression that they just added more stuff constantly.
The thing that you might be thinking of is there has been a complaint about borrowed power recently. By recently, I mean for the past 8 years or so. What they tend to do is add an alternate progression system towards the end of the game, or related to the current expansion, and that dissolves after the expansion. And then whether or not you keep certain aspects of that becomes thorny. Like they'll give you an amulet, and the amulet has a new like set of abilities, some of which are passive, some of which are active, and then you might not have those next expansion. They might get rolled into
which is the same
abilities.
thing Destiny does
Yeah.
with the artifact system, and this is why people are constantly complaining. I love these artifacts last season. Let me keep fucking using them because I hate what you're doing this one.
Oh, is that what those do?
Yes.
Oh, that's stupid.
There are several core gameplay mechanics that will revolve around something that is in an artifact for the season, and the next one they will completely replace it.
That's stupid. I thought it was just purely an unlock item.
Well,
no.
It keeps you playing during the session because you have to unlock it. You have to keep working on it as you develop. And it keeps you coming back next time because you can't even use the same abilities to do old content. So you have to buy the next expansion.
This sucks, gang.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it's like, these are Skinnerbox shit, right? Like, this is obviously not good. Nobody thinks this is good. Like, I bring it up. Borrowed power is the term WoW players use for bitching about it because like WoW players, WoW addicts hate this.
Yeah, they call it borrowed power, I presume, because they want to infinitely grow more powerful.
Well, because essentially the lore essentially is that you lose the power after the expansion goes over for some fucking arbitrary reason. So it's borrowed power, but it's your character's core rotational abilities are in that. You get something and it changes how you play your character.
Like entirely.
To an extent, yeah. It's like, when I say it's complete, like I'm having trouble articulating this. You know how in you play a Final Fantasy 14 job at a low level, and you know right the fuck away that this shit is not all of your abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, 'cause you've got like 6 of them. WoW classes don't play like that. They might have but what they will do is they'll develop into something where it's like you get a new ability and suddenly something else becomes way more viable. Like, you might have a really weak filler ability that doesn't do anything and is way more expensive than your other things that spend gauge or whatever, and then you might get a passive talent that like makes that hit 4 times in a row. So now you have to redo your rotation based on whether you have that passive talent. Which is where
Destiny
Which-
2 does something even more different, where they'll have seasonal events that roll into town, and the artifact will directly affect your ability to compete in those seasonal events by unlocking specific mechanics relative to those events that will also play into things like the new strikes or a new raid or something. And thus, once that season passes out of vogue, there is literally no reason to keep using those mechanics despite the fact that people may or may not have enjoyed them. So things like Rasputin's cores and killing an enemy with like precision damage that makes you drop a fucking bomb that you then get to throw at somebody or whack someone with, that disappears because that was only supposed to be for the Rasputin shit.
I can see the appeal of this for like a live service game, just development wise, because it means that you can essentially create like a gameplay cul-de-sac that you can focus on, and that you don't have to consider, and that you don't have to consider it in the future when developing new content. You don't add it to the stack of things that you have to keep in mind. So I can see why that appeals.
But that's the funny thing, because some of those get kept on. Like when I say borrowed power, like some of those just become core rotational abilities after that because people had a lot of fun with it, and it's essentially arbitrary based on what the devs do when they're remaking stuff, which is a big portion of why the WoW expansions are such a big deal. It's just that every 2 years they'll redesign their shit from the ground up. Stuff will completely fucking change.
Same thing happens in Destiny. A lot of different seasonal mechanics will just come back in the form of an arbor mod at some point because people would make enough noise. Specifically, the Rasputin thing is the one that immediately comes to mind. They put Rasputin armor mods back into the game and brought them up to max level because people were fucking furious they couldn't keep using Seraph cores. But like, once again, this is why we don't necessarily like live service shit. I don't want that. I play my game in a specific way, and I would like to keep playing it that way.
Yeah, no, this is just really cementing, like, you mentioned, like, relitigating the MMO argument over and over, because, like, no, I get that, because, like, I am also constantly relitigating this with myself, because I remember having enjoyed MMOs at some point, like, in the past, when I was younger, and had, like, energy and shit. And now it's like, I want to feel that again, but also, I don't want to play any of these. Because they don't mesh with I don't vibe with them. I don't want to hang out. I don't want to do, like, social shit with people. I don't want to go, like, join a fucking clan or whatever.
What it boils down to is that, yeah, that's a big part of it, but, like, at least for me, I just don't like spending time on stuff. Like, I don't have a problem sitting there and banging my head against a fight if I feel like I'm going to proceed at the end, but I don't like it where it's like essentially it's been set based on your skill and your gear level and how good your co-players are going in. That's just not interesting to me. And so, like, that plus the insane time commitments for any of these, like, I mean, even if I did it right on the first try, which you won't, and I didn't have to learn it, like, it takes you 15 minutes to get through a raid fight in this game. So, and like you log in on a new fight and you've got a timer on there, and so yeah, it is theoretically fun to sit in there for 90 minutes and make attempts and figure out what you're doing. But I don't find the gameplay engaging because I'm just hitting buttons, and I'm hitting the same buttons in the same order every time. There's no dynamic reaction. There's nothing interesting. It's just how quick can I hit the buttons without looking at them while moving around the floor markers. Which, you know, if you start to break it down that much, it quickly becomes this is a criticism of all video games.
Yeah,
but
that's
the caveat
that's
here is that the gameplay itself is not really. I never feel like I'm reacting to anything. I never feel like I'm dodging an attack. I never feel like I'm moving out of the way of something, or like I've read the pattern or figured it out. And
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not-
you're reacting to stimuli, and the stimuli is not inherently engaging.
Yeah, and it's like it's fine. Like I do like playing around in Final Fantasy. I like existing in the space. I like hanging out, and I like playing fashion with the equipment, which means that sometimes I need to do content. I mean, hell, just in October, which was the last time I played this game regularly, I decided to change a costume at the last minute, which revolved leveling a character for 20 levels. I had to do that. I had to fucking get 20 more levels to fit into the costume. And then I won a little prize in the contest. It was good.
Huh.
And like Din really likes the fashion aspect. Meanwhile, you've heard me bitch and moan about the fact that we have these gigantic fucking spaces that are not conducive to the idea of exploration, despite how big they are and how long it takes to get from one end of the map to the other. Like in Destiny, like Tangled fucking Shore, you get there on a Sparrow fucking 20-30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, right?
I mean, use this
longest.
lipstick. It's weird.
But like, you know, trying to do that in Final Fantasy XIV, trying to get from fucking one end of Garlemald to the other is a giant pain in the ass. In fact, Garlemald is currently a pain in the ass because the fucking Aetherites are so spread out, and half the time shit is on one end of the map or the other.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, no, but I personally like it because I want to. I have never gotten past the time I played Breath of the Wild and then said, okay, this is the best video game I've ever played. Because I like the idea. This is the reason I like dungeon crawlers. It's the reason I like fucking.
You like
Etrian
going
Odyssey.
to a place and seeing a thing and going, wow, I wonder if there's anything up there. And then you like being rewarded by finding a little thing up there, which lets you know that the devs planned this area on purpose.
Exactly. I adore that.
And it's just not something you get in MMOs very often.
It's
No.
just not. So despite the fact that they've put all this shit in there, and like, yes, sometimes you'll find alpha, sometimes there's like a little minion that's been programmed to roll over on its side or something, in like a corner of the world, but that's not really what I'm looking for. I want to be rewarded for seeing a thing and then stopping everything to go look at that thing.
What's
And that was
on top of this mountain? Yeah.
And that was the thing you could do in Breath of the Wild, and it's the thing that open world-esque games are always kind of trying to promise. Final Fantasy XIV lures me in with a very, very beautiful story, coherent lore, and this well-designed, gigantic-ass space, and then nothing to go do in it because the game is built around instances.
Yeah, it's theme park.
Yeah, basically. Except
Yeah,
there's
no,
no
it's-
rides.
The instances are the rides.
The instances I would not call that, because the instances are often their own spaces. This is why people were begging for the fucking Explorer mode, because you don't get to go to the Orban Monastery unless you run Orban Monastery.
And there's other shit. Like, I've talked to a friend, and like, I mean, I talked to a friend. I always talk to friends. I'm talking to friends right now. But,
Aw.
and I'm talking to Cow.
Good catch.
Anyways, so the thing that compares this with WoW is that WoW fights are always very deeply gimmick fights. Their dungeons are designed to be weird and esoteric. And while in some cases this leads to the thing that they complain about in Final Fantasy XIV, where you get elitist players who only run through shortcuts, you also get that in Final Fantasy XIV, even though the dungeons are exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, there's not really a solution there except for ignoring some of that criticism and just trying to make something fun.
I'm trying to think of the. Oh, go ahead.
Final Fantasy XIV, we don't get that. Everything that we've got is flattened out. Like, how to put this?
Nothing has a very specific role. We have roles, and then, you know,
Your role
abilities.
has to be exactly interchangeable.
Exactly. You cannot swap. If you cannot swap a white mage for a sage, then the entire basis around which the game is built fucking falls apart against you.
Sometimes it's so there's all roles have to be interchangeable. All DPS has to be roughly equivalent in a certain skill bracket, with a few exceptions. They allow DPS variances between archetypes, and they allow them between inside archetypes in very specific circumstances. Tanks are completely interchangeable. Healers are interchangeable with healers of the same type. There are 2 shield healers, there are 2 regen healers. These healers are roughly equivalent. Everything they've changed since this expansion at the very least has contributed to that greater flattening.
Yeah.
And there's been little shit too, like Palace of the Dead enemies and the other deep dungeons, they have a resistance to blinding. This is because one class, Paladin, used to be able to inflict blind. Their AoE aggro ability was called Flash. It didn't generate any aggro, it just got everybody's attention and then blinded them. Which is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's like, so you had to follow that up with a different ability if you wanted to hold aggro, which made them bad tanks in the early game. But that made them fantastically effective in certain circumstances in the Palace of the Dead, because if you could blind everything, they can't hit you with melee attack. Almost everything in the palace uses melee attacks. It's like a fucking freight train. It's a free cooldown. With some caveats, it's an AoE, so you don't want to use it if you're surrounded, but like, you know, here is
There's a big thing that's hitting the shit out of you.
And then, in some circumstances, they've changed it to be a little better, like Red Mage and Scholar recently got access to Sleep. Red Mage can uniquely combo with that, because Sleep is considered a spell, even though it's a roll action, so you can double cast it.
Which means you can jolt to repose.
Yeah.
Or is that sleep?
It's sleep.
Okay.
Repose is for healers and sleep is for casters. But
Thank you.
I can jolt or I can Vercure into sleep, which means I can instantly sleep things, which means I essentially have an interrupt unless the thing is immune to sleep.
Which, you know, put that in proper perspective, that means no ad can kill you because you can constantly hit it, heal yourself, or even, hit it or heal yourself and then put the thing to fucking sleep and then start your cast again.
Well, not necessarily. There's a lot of little things into it, but essentially it's another option in your toolkit.
There's just not a lot of, like, even Dragoon. Dragoon baffles me because it's the one class where you would think it would have the fantasy of a shitload of movement options, but dives...
It has less than any other job in the game right now.
It has less than any other job in the game, and the other thing is, like, specifically jump puts you back where you started. In total, we have Spine Shatter, Dragonfire, and Stardiver, and that's it. We don't even have what Reaper has, which is every other class in the game gets a gap closer. Essentially, like, even fucking Summoner's got a gap closer at this point.
Oh, it does? Nice.
Yeah, Summoner has a fucking gap closer now. Dragoon does not have a gap closer. Dragoon still has Elusive Jump, which is the button that has infamously for years gotten us to fall off of cliffs.
Yeah.
Because it's the panic jump away button, but it's super far backwards, and it's backwards. This is the reason why you guys have seen me, like, twirl jumping all the time. I saw the memes about that, and I literally was like, I'm never going to let that happen to me. And so I trained myself to be able to spin jump, so I could always point my fucking jumps in the right direction. Din would notice that I am very good at not dying and getting hit by certain mechanics, and it's specifically because Dragoon's got a really fucking long jump, and I taught myself how to aim it on purpose. The average player is probably A, not playing with a controller, or B, is a freak like me and needs to be jumping around and hopping around 24/7 because she has ADHD, and thus taught themselves how to aim an unwieldy movement ability.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that for Reaper.
Yeah, no,
We need to find a way to make the lipstick look not like ass. Fucks up with reflections and makes her lips look white. I don't know if that's because of my G shade settings or something else.
Have you tried using mine yet?
Using your settings?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want the game to look cel shaded like that. It looks really cute, but I don't like how it turns out.
Ah.
Oh, right. I was going to mention earlier. I was racking my brain trying to think of other, like, if I've ever played an MMO that felt like it had good exploration in that sense. I can think of 2 answers for that, and both of them come with a caveat. I remember Guild Wars 2 having some, like, interesting stuff to explore, but also all of it was essentially, like, systematized. Like, you go to a place, and it's like, oh, here's a spot where you can jump off a cliff into a little lake or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. Or it's a jumping puzzle or something like that, in which case you come to hate it because it's a jumping puzzle.
It's like a payoff versus effort kind of thing, and I really do get it, because, like, if you make something that nobody's going to see, why are you making it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you want that to be a thing, you have to put it in there. It's moreover, it's more like it's more of an issue when you think of that as a broader game design problem, where like, I don't want to make abilities that players have that they might interact with uniquely that other players won't have access to.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, like, what do those games that you mentioned have in common? What does Breath of the Wild have in common? Is that essentially there is no competition. There's no reason not to make it so that you can have a random thing that you can interact with sometimes. There's no reason not to have that, so it just has it.
Yeah, because it's single player. There's no, like you said, there's no competition. There's no motive to flatten everything in that way.
That, and a lot of the game's advertising and what it was building itself on was this idea that it's for you to explore. So the idea of there just being a lot of that really cool shit that you will actively go and look for is kind of the point.
Precisely, yeah. And my other answer for an MMO I played that had that sense of exploration was City of Heroes.
And City of Heroes was absolutely outstanding for this, specifically because nobody had a plan for what his City of Heroes was going to be.
Yeah, precisely.
Nobody ever got in the way of what one dev decided they wanted to put in City of Heroes, which is how you ended up with shit like that zone that you can only navigate via jump jet or flight superpower.
Yeah, the Shadow Shard. The Shadow Shard was like, people hated the Shadow Shard, but I love that fucking place. That was some visually buck wild shit. Genuinely.
Yeah,
I need to go look at
the video last time
with my shaders again.
Absolutely deranged stuff from.
Yeah, and there was also like because it was a lot of like handmade like cities, towns, like urban centers, etc., etc. It's all handmade. They didn't do like procedural generation or anything. So you had a lot of people making big zones with very little oversight as to what went in them beyond, does this look like what we wanted, what the concept art and what the vibe of the zone looks like. And so you get little like Easter eggs. You get like little areas that are like, oh, this wasn't strictly intended to be here, but like because of how this intersected, because of how this one environment artist did it, you get a weird like something interesting going on. Like there were a couple of zones that had I don't remember what they called them, but there was an anomaly in pedestrian pathing where NPCs would like loop in a weird way around particular areas. There was like just little corners of spaces that had like props placed in them, or like NPCs with unique lines or something like that. It was interesting stuff, and it was on a scale that was like traversable because it was like big, but also everyone all had their travel powers, you know, so you could zip around super fast and check this stuff out. And when you found something, you could bring other people to see it as well. I have a lot of fondness for that game.
Not played. I want to see what you guys are referring to at some point.
How so?
Well, it's impossible because City of Heroes is no longer open, but if you wanted to, YouTube.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's gone forever, and no one made a fan server. There's no fan server, none whatsoever. Doesn't exist. Don't ask me.
One thing I'm scared about with Final Fantasy XIV. I think it is going to be an absolute fucking travesty if this game as a service does not have any kind of single player port experience and or fan server keeping it alive. But when it does inevitably die.
It's never going to get a single player port experience, so don't worry about that. Even with whatever they're developing it to, it's not going to tend toward that. But on the other hand, they kept Final Fantasy XI running despite having no updates for 12 years. No, it's 8. It was 8 years. Last time I checked, it's about 10 years now. Their last update was in 2012. I got part of the way through talking about that earlier. We were talking about what does a game end of life look like. People kept subbed to that shit. People kept buying stuff for it. And like this was before the microtransaction era, so people were buying subs. And having signed up for it, it is a fucking arcane and Byzantine process. So like people were still buying and signing up for this game despite every barrier to entry existing.
Well, I mean, it had the Mithra and fucking Golga had Tail.
Okay, but like, you haven't made a character, right?
No, I have not. I'm just being a shithead. Go on.
Like, because like the thing is, like, it does not have any customization. Each character, there are
You said
4
this.
faces. No, there's 8 faces with 2 hair colors each. That's it. All characters are this. Oh, and you can scale the height. You can be big, small, or medium. You end up having something like 40 character customization options per race, per gender. And 2 of those don't have genders, so it's nothing. And people still play the game because that's not something that the game tries to sell itself on.
Yeah, no, about this conversation, right, I was talking about the fact that I am content with the fact that I may not actually enjoy this game at any point in the future. Yeah, I think we've said everything on that topic, honestly.
Yeah, there's probably not much really to go on from there, but I mean...
Like, I think we're all in agreement. There are specific things that we want out of this game that it's almost definitely not going to give us, but because we have all had a very specific kind of experience with it, we're willing to accept that L.
Yeah, it's like no game's gonna be perfect, but it's the frustration is just mounting because I just don't like playing the game.
Yeah, same.
It's just as for recapturing the love, playing a new MMO, I don't know. I like I said, I subbed to Final Fantasy XI. I'll see if that's worth the fucking time. It's probably not going to be. The amount of shit you have to do to get into the game, the barrier to entry is absolutely insane.
And
I
it's
got
also just an arcane fucking game.
Fucking weird ass control set as the default.
I've heard stories about that.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's an infamously bad game, but you know, it doesn't have to be good to be fun. So
This is
whatever.
true. $6.20 remaining. You think we can make it?
Maybe.
Trying to get to this high-grade emissions.
Honest to God, if there is one thing I was expecting out of the patch, I was not expecting to meet the other Scions so soon. Like, genuinely.
We're just going on the same dipshits again.
Yeah, like immediately. I was so ready. Like, I was content with the idea, okay, we'll have Estinian and Y'shtola, and then we'll have a bunch of fun new characters who are joining us. And like, I like Estinian, I love Y'shtola. I can deal with the fact that they are here, and then we're just gonna have all these fun new guys, and maybe we'll go do fun stuff with Grahatia and Kryel every now and again as they rebuild the students. And otherwise, we're just fucking off to the races, right? But then it's like, cool, let's go find Thancred and Urianger and Alphino and Alize, and also, how about saving the first or the 13th? You know, you know, this doesn't feel like a newfound adventure. This sounds like the same old bullshit.
If we're gonna be hanging around the same old people, then, like, where's the expansion headed entirely by Tataru? That's what I'm waiting
There's
for.
also that, but also in a different sense, like it feels like it undercuts the ending of 6.0. Endwalker ends with the disbandment of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
I've heard this.
The legal disbandment. It's
Yeah, they're all in touch, but the organization is legally disbanded, and everybody goes to different corners of the earth. Benkrid and Urianger go to the fucking moon. Ishtola goes to hang back with Matoya. Estinian's like, I don't know where the fuck I'll go. I'm an adventurer now. We'll see where my heart takes me. Kryl maintains the Rising Stones and turns it into the warehouse for her boutique. Kryl and Rahatia go to restore the students, and all the other B characters start moving around. So, like, Hori Boulder and Aenor are in Gridania, and you might be able to find Hori Boulder and Coltonet in different places and stuff like that.
I'm glad they're still around.
They're still around, but it felt like, okay, we're past that, and if they do come back up, it's going to be so much later on, right? It felt, I keep saying this, Endwalker felt like the most obvious ending to a video game imaginable. It didn't feel like the climax and resolution of a story, it felt like the climax and resolution of the story.
I'm going to leave. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was just... It just wasn't there. It's unfortunate. It's terribly, terribly unfortunate. Like, yeah, no, I keep saying this. It just... There's so many things it could do that it just won't do. Because the fact of the matter is, there is still a whole lot of interesting shit that is going on in Final Fantasy, but they're not going to touch it. Like, we're never going to get one back over on Lilorio. We're just not. He's done. He's over. He's a minor character now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're never gonna get one back over on that dude. We're not gonna go back to Gridania. I don't, honest to God, once we wrap up the shit with the 12, I don't know if we'll do anything regarding Eorzea again. I'm being serious about that. Din said it, they'll probably pull a Heaven's Word where everything gets really insular and only revolves around those older area or those newer areas, and just the older shit falls by the wayside, which will kind of suck. I've actually really liked the fact that Final Fantasy XIV, you've still got a reason to go basically everywhere in the entire game's world. You know, and it's not just for stupid shit like, oh, I can only buy this one thing and this one. No, you will have to go everywhere in the world all the time for different things. For story, or quests, or guild marks, or shop items. You know? But I'm almost certain that whatever they do with the next expansion, it's not going to really... Ishikawa laid a really strong base, and I can see them not do anything interesting with it.
Yeah, it all keeps circling back to that. Like,
I mean, I feel like this is the case as far back as fucking A Realm Reborn. Did you know Moonbrita was her?
yeah, I knew that.
And then what did the next writer immediately come in and do?
Immediately came in and killed Moonbrita.
Exactly. It's just a history of people kind of shitting on her work. But in general, like...
Well, joke's on them. She wrote the best expansion, and now the game is never going to reach that height again.
I mean, it's a number of things. Ishikawa wrote the best quests.
Yeah.
Like, I say a lot of shit about Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm gonna be honest, I really mean the parts of it that bitch wrote. Because what do I remember about Stormblood? I hated everything to do with Alamigo, and me and everybody else loved Doma. We all loved fucking Zayla. Nobody has anything bad to say about them. Right?
Yeah.
And that was what the fuck she was in charge of. We think of Heaven's Word and the Dark Knight quests 30 to 50 and 60 to 70 especially. 30 to 50, because the fact of the matter is, at every point Ishikawa's been writing the story, it's not been... Din has talked about this, and this is the thing that happens in a lot of MMOs. It's the Destiny thing, it's the Warcraft thing, where you are in a place because somebody has told you to be there, and now it is your job to kill.
Yeah, go bring me 10 bear asses, yeah.
Bring me 10 bear asses and, you know, your fucking Alphinaud's personal attack dog.
Yeah.
But then, you know, Ishikawa gets her hand on the narrative for a moment, and it's not just you have some strange power, and now I'm going to train you. Are you prepared to be trained? I'm training you now. Like,
Right, yeah. What is the interiority of a character who, like, if you supposed that, like, okay, it's kind of like, this is an extremely stupid illusion, but once more, this is how my brain works. It's like how everyone says that the protagonist of Mystery of the Druids is like, what if an adventure game character was a real guy? It's like, hey, what if the MMO main character was a real person? What is their interiority?
Like, what if they actually had thoughts and emotions?
Yeah. Like,
And the
what
fact of the
what would
matter
the
is-
interiority of that person be to make them act
Ishikawa-
externally like that?
Yeah, like Ishikawa did not just write a story. She wrote a story about a character. And that was the big difference. Like, Dark Knight does not start with, like some guy showing up and saying, you have a talent. I am going to show you the ultimate power. It starts with you wandering up to a dead body and fucking with it until the ghost of the guy shows up and starts saying, well, I'm haunting you now.
Yeah, you find a dead body, you're just wondering, like, wait, I wonder what happened here. And
then
everything
his
from that
fucking
point
ghost
is
shows up.
entirely, like, I mean, spoilers if anyone hasn't done that story, but, like,
It's incredible. Please do it.
yeah, but also, like, it wears the skin of a quest where a guy tells you to do stuff, but
all the way
that
to
guy's
the end,
not
it is you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, literally, it's just you. Like, fucking, this is the thing that really gets me about the goddamn Dark Knight quests. It gives off the initial idea of there is a guy who shows up and tells you to do some shit. But the reality of the situation is that the guy shows up, he immediately points at a thing and turns to you and says, I think those guys fucking suck. Don't you think those guys fucking suck? And you
Does
kinda nod
also
your head and say,
immediately it does also immediately voice like some things that anyone who had been in the zone for the new content was thinking about the state of things.
I mean, even if you had just been around for like the stuff going into it, like the patch content, or the 40 to 50 shit with Kurthus, you knew shit was fucked in Ishgard. You knew
Yeah.
shit was fucked in Elf City. But then like he's like, don't you think these guys fucking suck? And you kind of like, well, yeah. And he's like, I think we should go fuck them up.
Aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go ape shit?
Literally, aren't you tired of being nice? Don't you just want to go ape shit? And then this is the reason I love Frey, because he was the most real motherfucker immediately in the whole game.
The most real motherfucker in the game who was not real.
Not literally a fucking conjuring of your deepest desires.
I know they kinda made him a real guy later, but I ignore that.
Well, it's twofold, right? So there is the actual Frey the guy.
Yeah,
but
there was
then
an
there's-
actual guy, but like, yeah, the
then
one that
there's
you
your
see in
dark
the quest
side.
is not that guy.
Yeah, but then there is your dark side.
I love it when a guy is a different guy than the actual guy.
I love just the fucking twist reveal of what do you mean? Who are you talking to? Who have you been talking to this whole time? And you find out that you've been hallucinating a ghost.
Normally I
The
hate that
ghost
shit, but
turns
like,
out-
I
But
love
then
that.
the ghost turns out to be you and starts actually physically manifesting and killing people, and then says, why the fuck won't you just allow yourself to break this shit and leave? They don't deserve it. You don't deserve this.
Love it.
And then they suddenly start wearing your face, and then it's just like, oh, I have a character.
It turns out, yeah.
And that is the core of Ishikawa's writing from then on. You, the character, the warrior of light, have been through some shit and feel a kind of way about it. And you didn't necessarily ever ask for it.
It's an acknowledgement of the fact that you can't have a blank slate character for as long as that game has been running.
It's acknowledgement of the fact that you can't have the blank slate character, but also what the blank slate character has had to have been through up to that point, even without any kind of additional backstory, because I think there is genuinely an argument to be said. If you go through the events of ARR all the way up through the Feast and to the start of 3.0, you have a right to feel bitter and to feel like running away from everything. Your character would have a right to say, fuck this shit, I'm out. Right? Especially based on, and this is the other thing, she fucking paid attention to a lot of the themes that were written therein with already. The first thing you ever get to make a decision on in the entire game after character creation is why you've come to wherever and started out as an adventurer. Do you remember those lines?
I do remember that.
And what are your 3 choices?
I don't remember them exactly, but I do remember one of the one of the responses just being "Don't say anything."
It's you keep your mouth shut, money, or power.
Yeah.
And frankly, that is a very interesting. Like these are your only options. Either you're not telling this motherfucker anything, or it's money or power. Like, there's some shit to be said there, you know?
Yeah, all
back.
3 of which are really are revealing of character, even the one that doesn't actually inject any new information.
It's the sort of stuff I think about when I am trying to write my character, because as you have seen, I get really excited when my attention to narrative devices and themes finally comes back up and rewards me for having paid attention to them throughout a narrative. It was the reason why I lost my shit when Aerie and Vana were like designed to be perfect foils to one another. It is why I have paid such a close eye to the theme of duty throughout the game, and how it heavily contrasts with the idea of what an adventurer is, and even like the nature of what kind of person could what are the events that would engineer the kind of person who would become the warrior of fucking light, you know?
Yeah.
And how do I take this character I've started with all the little fucking dumb things that I did early on in her creation, and how do I twist it into something that is compelling narratively? Because you may remember, I fucked up the spelling on Ariane's name. I didn't intend to give her heterochromia, and I had no goddamn idea what I was doing starting in Gridania as a mooncat.
I do recall this.
But those managed to work together and kind of synthesize an interesting thing. It's very funny. Have you ever just like seen other people play the video game and you like see their wall going through fucking story content?
I
It's
generally don't
surreal.
watch other people play the game.
I don't do it all that often either, but I've seen it a couple of times because I'll go to look up certain scenes and whatnot. Cal, that shit is surreal. You know? Like, and it's not just because, you know, it's somebody else's character, but it really is because the writing has done such a good job of making the protagonist your little guy. Is such a key thing.
I think I
love
understand,
Shadow's
yeah.
work. Yeah, because like in Shadowbringers, you're the warrior of darkness, and this is why I paid so close attention to that theme of duty, because Ishikawa pays attention to it. The idea that you're not doing this necessarily because someone told you, but because you have a moral responsibility to. And that is very interesting to me, that you as an adventurer do not actually want to be doing the shit that you do, to the extent that your ultimate antagonist and foil in Xenos knows it. And
Yeah,
calls you the fuck
everyone
out for
likes like everyone has read the fucking everyone loves the reluctant protagonist. Everyone loves the protagonist who doesn't want to be doing this shit, but like the thing is, everyone likes that, everyone wants to do that. Nobody ever fucking does it right.
Nobody ever does it right.
It's always
That's
just
why.
like, because they look at your fucking arch nemesis, what's his fucking name, the hero's journey guy, and they're like, oh, refusal of the call means that the
God.
protagonist refuses the call and then he accepts the call. It's simple. It's like how dialectical materialism is when you have two things.
But yeah, no, like Jesus Christ, I'm so glad I can't remember his name myself. Let's keep it that way. Monomyth guy, you're entirely
Monomyth guy, yeah.
and it's extremely frustrating. That's why I like Ishikawa's spin on it so much, because she really did just keep. I feel less like I have played Square Enix's Creative Business Unit 3's Final Fantasy XIV, and more Natsuko Ishikawa's Final Fantasy XIV.
Like I don't usually buy a reluctant protagonist. Like, there's very few examples I can even think of just offhand of times that's really worked. Like, the protagonist of John Dies at the End, reluctant protagonist. The Warrior of Light, the other one. That's the other one I can think of. Like, I actually buy it when... What's that one fucking bit? I don't remember her name. The lady... what's her name?
Give me features.
I think she had red hair.
Red hair Fordola?
Fordola, yes. When Fordola gets that little peeky peek in your
the shit that's gone on.
yeah,
in
and
your
she's
life.
like, "Yo, how the fuck are you even doing this?" And you're just basically like,
and then you get to
"Because
quote
I gotta."
Harsha answer.
Yeah, exactly.
That is my favorite, because Final Fantasy XIV does that shit a lot. And like, she says, "How the fuck are you still going?" And you just say, "For those that we've lost, for those that we can yet save," because it's narrative payoff.
Yeah, it's good shit.
such-
It's like, again, it's a handful of times that I have bought the idea of like a character who persists because they have to.
It's one of the reasons why I've written Aerie in the way that I have, where like every facet of her character is building up to this kind of cosmic fucking importance and duty. Like, I think the idea of the Echo is incredibly fucked up, right? Like, imagine every now and again, out of the blue, you just know some shit that's happened to somebody or is about to happen to that person. And it can be anything from a loved one having passed to whether or not they were implicated in a crime to who killed them or who did they murder, shit like that, right?
You have narrative sense, yeah.
You just know some shit that will happen. And I genuinely feel like because there are so many, I've seen so many different stories where somebody tries to set up a protagonist who has to prevent the future because they know what's going. That was Noda. That was Noda's whole entire deal. I know what's going to happen in the future, and I am here to prevent the absolute worst case scenario from happening. You know? But like the idea that
I'm
that
still
is your
upset about
magic- I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. But the idea that is your mutant superpower, every now and again, you will just get a vision of some shit that has happened in the past. And so you now have a much richer and deeper understanding of another human being's life, more than either of you probably consented to. What does that do to a person? And especially, I really liked Fordola's whole shit because her getting the vision of you is what fucks her up enough to hang out and do what Lise tells her. Like, did you remember that? Like, the whole reason Fordola is agreeable to Lise after all the shit that goes on in Stormblood is that she starts having the horrible, horrible visions, and then she sees yours, and she's like, what the fuck?
It's like that post that was
really
going around
saying
on
something.
Tumblr earlier about the, like, if you're having a really, how exactly did they put it? It was very funny. Like, funny in that kind of profound way that sometimes people are. Oh, how the fuck did they put it? Like, the sense of, like, if you're having a really fucking bad time, and then you see someone who's having it 10 times worse, and you just decide that, actually, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, literally, the thing that gets me is that Fordola suddenly felt shame. Like, she's this incredibly complex character that goes through all of this horrid bullshit. She's willing to sell out her own people, eventually her own comrades, because she believes that there is no way to preserve her country other than this. And then she sees everything that you have been through and takes another look at herself and says, I took the fucking cheap route. That says to me, you have to have been through way more than just what has been happening in the game thus far. You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, don't get me wrong, Haurchefant dying, fucked up. The time, you know, the bloody banquet, fucked up. Izel dying, also fucked up. Having to rip fucking Estinian out of Nidhogg and fight him single-handedly, once again fucked up. Everything going on in Stormblood, super fucked up. Fordola is child of a man who got stoned to death and watched.
Yeah.
I when you're playing that kind of Olympics, what that says to me is, oh, your character has to have been through some shit. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason it comes to mind every so often.
And that was like one of the most interesting things, where the game keeps giving you these moments to say, what about your character is driving them forward? And it's always coming back down to this sense of insane duty. The fact that every single instance is called a duty, for one thing. And whenever you start something, whenever you start an instance, it says duty commenced. You know? And just
God,
like,
look at the fucking power draw on these.
I'm gonna open the stream back up. I had it closed so I could download something. But just this constant idea of there is you were not, you have lived through some shit, and the stuff we have seen may not even be the start of it. I love that. I think she's a very good writer, Miss Natsuko Ishikawa. I think she's a very clever individual.
God.
Yeah, it's buffering on my end.
See all of those. Hello, Odyssey.
Is this a case of needing to force close?
No, it eventually figured it out. It just decides to do that every so often. Ugh.
That's fucked up.
Every so often it just decides, oh, I need all of your system resources to render this wall.
Fucked up.
It's fucked up. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, right. I was saying, like, yeah, I've gotten onto the subject of thinking of just like, nothing is the way it was, and nothing is going to be the way it was ever again.
Genuinely, like, God, the whole fucking original point of this. Natsuko Ishikawa wrote a story that was about the player, and no other writer in Final Fantasy XIV's writing room has done the same. And as a result, the kind of insane attachment everybody feels to their little guy is very much baked into the narrative and all the shit that goes on therein, and to begin to remove it, or just not even be able to deliver in that same kind of way, immediately fucking defeats the entire original point against which a lot of it was based on.
Mm-hmm.
The game does not feel the same if you do not play Dark Knight. Like, it will never hit the same if you have not done everything that Ishikawa wrote.
Power down your weapons, Commander. Aggressive behavior will not be tolerated.
The lady had some themes, and she kept hitting the damn. Have you ever noted? Right, you didn't actually get to play through Shadowbringers, so I will explain this now, I guess. With me?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So there is a very, I'm dead serious that there is like a really strong through line from Dark Knight 50 to 6 or 30 to 50 to 60 to 70 to Shadowbringers to Endwalker. All of the different job quests are doing all this like cool fun stuff and whatnot. With Dragoon, literally everything that you're doing you have to teach yourself. All the jobs are like that from 70 onwards, but with Dragoon in particular, you just literally you've been making stuff up since 50. That's an actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the Red Mage shit. You've got
that's the one that's
Master's
completely blank.
Quest. You've got Rogue and Ninja and all that stuff. It's all going. And then you've got the fucking Dark Knight quests. And if every other job quest in the game is here's some cool lore and an introduction into a funny little snippet of our world, Dark Knight steps apart from all of that and then says, what is your place in it? And it's the only job in the game that does it. And it keeps doing it over and over again. It does it in 30 to 50, it does it in 60 to 70, and then you get Shadowbringers, and deadass, there is a fucking reason why the Dark Knight is, the poster child for that one.
Yeah.
That fucking stanchion was Ishikawa's baby. And she just weaves it into this whole thing, like Grahatia's whole thing of I will go to the ends of the earth. So do you know how Shadowbringers ends?
I know the broad strokes.
So the Crystal Exarch is secretly Grahatia, right?
No.
No. You had no idea, especially not if you played Crystal Tower and had the option to immediately call him by name the moment you met him.
Never would have guessed.
Never would have guessed. But Graha is the Crystal Exarch, and his plan all along, and he did this with Urianger, they have fucking duped you, is that the Exarch's plan was to have you gather up all the fucking contaminated light from all of the Light Wardens, because you store it in your body, because you're fucked up and you've got the echo and your soul is dense as shit and you can barely handle it, but you can handle it.
You're built different.
You're built different. And he's like, you are the apple of my eye, you are my everything, you give me reason to get up in the morning, and the entire world will very literally fall to ruin without you. So I, at the last goddamn second of all of this, will not force you to do the horror of having to kill me. I am going to play your enemy, rip the light out of you, turn into a fucking monster, and let you destroy me that way so that you don't have to deal with the kind of moral horrificness of having to kill a person who you actually know and were friends with. And then Emmett Self shoots him and says, fuck, you're not, Catboy. It's very funny because Raha does this big fucking grand twist and he's like, I kind of fucked it up, now you know, but I'm still doing it. You're living, goddammit. I'm making sure you get out of this alive. And then MXL goes, no, you're fucking not. Come here. And then, you go and do all the shit in Amarot, and you find out that the real point of the Ascians and what the actual goal is in resurrecting Zodiark and all of that shit. And you have to say to yourself, you have to say to him, I don't care that all your people are dead. I refuse to die to essentially resurrect your dead people.
Rip to you, but I'm different.
Not even rip to you, but I'm different, but straight up, I don't care. I want to live, and I'm not going to die for dead people to come back to life. And that is effectively, that's the whole point. I'm not going to allow myself or anybody I care about to be sacrificed to bring back some people who are already dead and have been dead. Die mad, old man.
And then he's like, no, fuck you, you die mad, and then you're like, reverse Uno card, and then you fucking kill him. But like that's the ending of Shadowbringers, and it's constantly setting up this: you are an incredibly important person, and there are people who hate you and care about you, and are also ideologically, what's the word I'm looking for? Ideologically opposed, but not necessarily because they are evil, but because you each want something, but in order to have it, the other person can't. And she does this from Shadowbringers all the way into Endwalker. She keeps setting up this idea that there is no necessarily singular human or singular evil motherfucker. Because in itself, there's a whole lot of fucked up shit, but when you put it in the perspective of this is a jaded old fuck who just wants to see his, like, city again, that he has constructed a giant fucking shade of it, of a dead civilization that will never come back to life. It does stuff. Honestly, I kind of wish we didn't go and deal with the Ancients specifically because of how final it felt.
Yeah, it sucks to look at the ruins of things that you knew and come to terms with the fact that they will never be like that again.
They will never be like that again, and it's not just, you know, my city will never be the same, or I'll never have my occupation, or my country is gone forever, but straight up literally.
That MMO I used to play is gone now, except for a private server that I don't agree with how it's run.
And it's so sad. It's so sad.
It's fucking heartbreaking, is what it is.
It's heartbreaking for you. Imagine what it's like when, like, all of your friends and family and your entire planet are dead, and all that's left are a bunch of fucking shitheads who keep killing each other with the pettiest garbage alive. I think that's what really sold Emmett Selk for me. The bit of, you think I have not tried to fucking agree with your kin? Do you think I have not, like, lived lives, sired children, built, destroyed, served in armies, killed and protected, that I have not lived 1,000 of your fucking lifetimes in pursuit of finding one iota of anything desirable about you wretched motherfuckers? It's true, he's right. But also,
Me trying every new city builder that comes out.
it's very good, this idea that, like, he's not necessarily wrong. Mankind is about all this humanity is doing all this fucked up shit, but it's then, you know, I don't care that we're not as good as the people you remember. I love the way we are, and I'm not going to let us be sacrificed to the ends of resurrecting the dead who no longer are. And that's that idea of, like, this Ishikawa keeps putting up this theme of duty and responsibility and not wanting to do a thing and constantly trying to see the other side of something and being utterly fucking miserable when it forces you into a position of conflict anyway. And it's good. I've been ranting about this game for like an hour.
2 hours and 25 minutes.
Jesus Christ, I need to go to bed. Thank you for listening to me sound like a fucking maniac.
No, it's genuinely interesting. It saves me from having to talk about how I've just been grinding for the last 2 hours and 25 minutes. Did you notice what we're doing now? Do you see what we're doing? Do you want to know what we're doing? No, do you want to know what we're specifically doing right now?
What are we doing, Cal?
We're scanning highways. This is the most tedious activity in the entire game.
Jesus Christ.
See, because the thing is, we have all of our manufactured materials that we need to complete our beautiful romantic bovine. We don't have all of the data. We have most of the data, but we don't have, I don't even remember what this fucking called. Maybe it'll pop up when we get this. Data mined wake exceptions. Yeah. You get these from scanning FSD wakes. You can also get them from other things like encoded data sources, but it's very rare because encoded data sources will also have other encoded data and not just wake echoes or FSD telemetry or whatever. And these you need specifically for FSD engineering, or for, in this case, let me refresh and see how we're looking on encoded components. Yeah, no, we're still missing 10 data mined wake exceptions. We need this so that we can get the pre-engineered FSD, because the pre-engineered FSD is flatly better than anything you could actually engineer manually. But we're actually doing a lot better on that front than we were a little while ago. As mentioned, we only need 10. 10 more. We get, I think... Fuck, how many do you get per thing? I think you get 3 or 5 for each one you get. And we can trade for them with other data forms.
This... Do you want to keep talking about it, Kat?
I'm game to talk about whatever. I'm just gonna finish up scanning these wakes.
God, what fucking time is it for real?
It's like 10:17 here.
I got class in the morning.
Do
I
you?
woke up early to do all the patch shit.
Uh-huh. I see.
I was up at 5 a.m. today. So as you can see, it's been on the mind all day. All right, I had to get it out somehow. I haven't spoken to human beings all day.
Regrettably, I have been.
I'm so sorry.
No. I'm talking about when I was working.
I know. I'm sorry. I am a fucking delight. I know you look hungry.
That's good. It's good that you know this.
I was trying to be facetious. Stop being fucking genuine. Thank you.
I will never stop being genuine.
Damn you. But yeah, no, I history. Tomorrow's art history.
Ah.
Alright, I'm going to, if I don't know when my roommate is coming back, and when he does show up, he's going to be loud, he's going to flip on all the lights, and he's probably going to stay up talking to somebody until like fucking 2 a.m.
Alright then.
So,
Well, I'm gonna keep... Yeah, I'll catch you later. I'm gonna keep at this until I get the 10 wake exceptions I need. Or I drop dead in my seat. Whatever happens first.
Well, I would appreciate the former before the latter. Oh, we should talk about whether or not... Are you feeling up to running the game at any point in the future again?
Running the game or a game?
The game.
I have no fucking clue. I have not been in the headspace to run anything. I was still working on the prep for that Mothership game that I wanted to do, but then the new Player's Survival Guide dropped, and I tried reading it, and I got very depressed. I think they might have made the game worse.
well, we don't need to use that.
Like, here's the thing. It's probably fine. I'm just in a fucking mood. And I read changes like what they did to the stress save system. I'm just like, this might be worse. I'm depressed now. And I'm too depressed to do math, so I can't tell if it's actually worse.
You know,
It's probably fine. It's probably fine.
Whenever I see that sort of stuff, I just say, well, I don't care, and then I go back to doing hot girl shit.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, specifically about the game, I don't know. I talked to Den about this a little bit. I'm very dissatisfied with the system. I don't think it incentivizes the right things. I skimmed through some logs from some sessions, fairly, like, I think the last 2 or 3, because I was trying to catch back up and do some prep, and like, I don't think the system we're using works. I think it's bad.
You mean
Like, it doesn't have to be good, huh?
You mean 2d6 or?
No. The thing that we're doing, the kind of like homebrew-ish, like point spending thing. I don't think it works.
In what way?
I don't think it incentivizes things right. I think it accidentally foments in-party, like... Okay, so the whole thing is, like, you can inflict status on another player, or you can spend a resource that is, like, shared by the party. And that is... I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I thought it would be funny, but it just didn't turn out to be.
It can turn into a matter of we're all going to fuck with each other now.
No, it didn't even turn into that, because that would have been funny. No, it's just a lot of, like, hemming and hawing over shit instead of just deciding to do, oh, what if we just did what was funny?
That's a good point. What if we... See, that's the thing, though. How to put this? Whenever we will have an incentive to push forward the narrative, any sort of thing that will push us back rather than advance us forward will ultimately be something that we try to avoid. And so things like heat and whatnot will always wind up being well, we don't want that, so we're going to try to be conservative with our roles so that we don't do the dumb fun thing. And so I do think you're correct in that sense, but honest to God, the solution to that would probably wind up being something like the fairy game that Den used to run.
Oh yeah, Costume Fairy Adventures. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but like in that specific way, I'll be honest, I don't want to do Fairy Adventures specifically because I have my first memory of that permanently will be Blossom punching me in the fucking face. It is forever burned in there, and it's the first thing I think of when I think
What kind of fucking person plays Costume Fairy Adventures to win? Fucking ridiculous.
Horrible person!
Everything gotta be like, just gotta play fucking everything to win. Jesus.
I still do not understand how the first thing she did was immediately attack another player.
You're not even supposed to. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. But yeah, no, that's a great game.
Yeah, no, it was fun and allowed each of us to do some fucked up and weird bullshit. Men was great. Who was I playing? What was the name of my character?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what my character was named.
I got the fucking file. I'm pretty sure. Nile.
Yes, that's the one.
That was
Yeah, no.
actually very fun.
That's a game that incentivizes just doing shit. Just fucking going for it.
Horrible, fucked up little women.
Yeah, and that's the model I want to like try to go more for. But also, there's just a lot of stuff in that. And the thing is that I am an old man. I am tired. I don't have any time to do anything. I say while playing a spaceship game for an audience of I don't know how much because I don't look at numbers.
This is the kind of hobby or relaxation.
Yeah,
I
precisely.
say-
But like, I don't want to sit down and have to write out a lot of bespoke content for a game that is ultimately going to be played by 4 people.
Well, I would say don't do it alone then. If ultimately the idea is, if we have a core idea that we're trying to build around, you've got 4 heads in the room. And we each know what we like to get out of the game, and we know what will incentivize us to do dumb shit. When we were playing Trash Nebula, let's be real, the reason I managed to keep doing dumb shit was because I had insolence. And that meant I was always incentivized to do something that could backfire horrifically because I got to do it in a very funny way that I personally enjoyed, i.e. being a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. You were one of like,
Like
The
even
degree
with-
to which you were playing the game right
like, even
fucking
with Parker,
haunts me.
Remember how Noda figured out Parker was rampant before
Yeah.
everybody else and immediately called it out?
Yes, I do
Now,
remember
why
this.
did
I remember
Noda-
this vividly.
How did Noda figure that out?
By being a bitch.
No. She didn't figure it out. That's the crucial part. She didn't actually piece it together. She was just being a bitch. She immediately knew she was mad at Parker, right? Because she lost her fucking necklace. She wanted someone to blame, and you can't blame Parker for anything. He's not actually. They're not actually in control of the lift. Parker is relatively nice, and nobody actually is mad at them for anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have to say, what could I get mad at Parker for? And so then you start fucking scrutinizing them. And then you realize, wait a minute, have you been in contact with the rampant fucking synth?
There you go.
Noda was successful at things specifically because she was a cunt.
Yeah, you had that ongoing catalyst to like dissect and push things.
And hilariously, she was still the most pleasant character in the cast.
The one that spoke, at least. But yeah, no, that's the sort of thing I mean, where there needs to be a specific incentive baked into each of our characters that isn't necessarily like a static bit, but a core aspect of our personality. Wither likes junk food, but that is not what I would say the core aspect of Wither.
No, this is why
Wither's core
refreshes
aspect-
don't work.
Yeah. They're an interesting concept that I think they'd have to be worked into a larger system to work that kind of way. If you were going to do something like something about each of our characters that we are constantly incentivized to do, I think each of us gets a unique kind of bonus specifically for doing a thing a certain. You have to go back to the traits we had in Uncharted Worlds, right? Where anytime Bedge is doing something, like fucked up and heinous, she's going to get a buff. Anytime Noda or Kai is being a cunt or a shitty old man, they're going to be incentivized to do it. But at all cases, it can horrifically backfire. But it's fun for us to do things this way and to play our characters this way, so we're always going to pick that option.
Well, yeah, because character building in that sense, when you're choosing from a list of like traits, especially one with an expansive list like Uncharted Worlds, I still kind of miss that game, even though it's not written very well in a lot of parts, and big chunks of it don't work. It's fine though. But anyway,
do you still have the server for that?
huh?
Do you still have that server?
Probably. I don't know.
I remember things from when I initially started playing Final Fantasy. Every now and again, I'm like, oh god damn it, I can't go find those posts.
I probably still have that in my list somewhere. I think I was gonna give it over to someone, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to just throw the ball into the fucking square and just be like, I don't want this. Or if I wanted to specifically give it to someone, specifically to cause problems. But regardless, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh, right, yeah. When players are choosing from like building a character from like traits rather than like purely numerically, you are essentially just like it's prescriptive in a kind of like a player is telling you what they're interested in by what they pick.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is not a thing of like, oh, I'm picking these because this is the kind of character I want to play. No, I'm picking these because this is what I'm interested in.
Yeah. Like, Aerie is, like, I did try to pick certain things that would play into a personality more so a common thing that she does. And I think that's where I went wrong, because that's not how point refreshes work.
No, I mean,
If
to be
it's
fair
not-
to you though, point refreshes just don't work.
I think point refreshes don't work in this specific context, is my thing.
It needs a more mechanically robust game.
Exactly.
We need to kill the dungeon masters in our heads, is what.
Yeah. what were my refreshes? Let me look at them because I distinctly remember I put effort into making sure. Right. Getting someone to listen to exposition, restore upon performing a violent act, which I was editing from taking a nap. Because after a point I realized the two things that I do the most are turn Ari into a violent communist and go at length about stuff because I love just making up world building on the spot. It's very fun.
Yes.
But those are specific things that those are not specific. Ari knowing shit about something is not the same as Ari info dumping something. One of those is an event, the other is a personality trait.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, you know, Disco Elysium and how you can just proc Encyclopedia at any point?
Yeah.
That's the key difference. It's not whenever I want to deliver a long tirade about something, my encyclopedia perk comes in. It's I have the encyclopedia perk, so I just know a lot of shit and can talk about it. And sometimes this will result in me giving long lectures on things that nobody else in the party knows about and or is interested in. And I specifically that part that nobody may be interested in and I may be judged for should be the
That should be the trade-off, right? That's
Exactly.
like, if this was a trait in Uncharted Worlds, that would be the, oh, you know something, but it's gonna make someone choose from this list. Oh, gets mad, or knows, or
someone does
understood
not
that
want to
thing
hear it
differently, or
thinks that
something.
that person may think, oh, you're a pompous asshole, or oh, you're a know-it-all, or
Mhm.
thinks you're boring, or thinks, you know, if you run into an idiot, they're only like, you don't actually know what you're talking about, or you
Yeah,
run into
or
somebody who
this
thinks they're smarter
person,
than you.
yeah, or this person's understanding
you-
of that subject is different,
Exactly. It's like,
and then it's
what
a
if
question
I
of
did
which
this
is
to that thing
actually,
die?
yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I forgot about Bazanga.
It was a good character.
That was a good character.
But that's the thing, and I know I could. That would be not shit. Now that I've said it, I should probably write it down. That like, but even then, like the other aspect of it, that Ari turns into a violent communist all the time, right? We would need to set up something that would make it. It would probably wind up being like the encyclopedia, where I might run to a different faction of leftist, and we will have horrific and violent disagreements about everything every now and again. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's definitely that is that's like I had some notes for when the Venusian revolutionaries show up again that are in that kind of mold.
Oh, that'd be so cool. She just loses it. And then also defining by what ways we can resolve a situation, because as we know, Ari is very capable and very wanting to resolve things with her fists, and that was why it was so funny when she was stuck inside Chug's body.
That was very fun.
Because technically, she should be able to just destroy everyone. But also, she's in Chub. And so she's just super fucking pissed off.
God, that was a fun arc.
Remember when she like tried to breathe fire? And
Yes.
then it scared the shit out of everybody for 2 seconds, and then she started coughing and needed her inhaler. that kind of perfect thing of like whether or not I am actually allowed to inflict violence, and if I am, what are the restrictions on my capabilities of it?
Smoke, please get off my desk. Thank you.
I think that is a conversation we should probably have with everyone really soon, like, because I think that would make it really interesting, especially going into Mars, like, really setting a hard limit on the ways in which we can resolve a situation and how we are incentivizing ourselves to play, because we've each got a fun bit. I really want there to be, like, a built-in mechanic where Bin Bin can just make a simp for the day.
And what?
Bin Bin can just make a simp for the day.
Oh yes, yes.
And, you know,
they then have to deal with whether or not that person will be weird about it. And
No,
also,
that absolutely
sometimes might
tracks.
not be able to
That's
get them
more
to
or less what I
leave.
was thinking of. Yeah, that's more or less what I was thinking of when I introduced the concept of the fan club.
And we just that's really it. We just need to nail down what parts are the most fun for us to do for our character, turn those things into Uncharted World-esque traits, and then assign a trade-off to them so that we will always want to do them and know that we will also constantly be getting screwed over for them if we roll bad.
I mean, that's
But it will
fate,
always
isn't
be in a
it?
funny way.
That's fate, isn't it?
How you know I don't know systems?
You don't know fate? I thought you knew fate.
I'm pretty sure that I was recommended Fate when I was tossing around systems for a Fire Emblem like. But other than that,
That's
no.
a strange thing that someone would recommend Fate for, because Fate is
It was
not
just I was being
stat crunch.
introduced to a bunch of different alternative ideas for systems.
Right,
It
and
was,
people who play and run Fate a lot are strange about it. I'll say.
It was more so I
reservedly.
didn't know anything and I was exposing myself to a lot. It was Den who told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
she gave me a number of different things that I looked at. That was how I got in. There were a couple of them. There was the Pocket Dungeon. There was Fate. She even said maybe take a look at Lancer if I'm curious about like adding, mounted stuff to it. And of course, the one that I found that was built into Roll20 was Microlight Emblem, but Roll20 is shit. So.
Boy, howdy, it's gonna get even worse when they lose the OGL.
We tried troubleshooting that like 2 or 3 times, and then we were like, this can just break at any given moment. Fuck this. This system will not work, I do not think.
Yeah, it do be like that.
If not for that, I probably genuinely would have kept writing my faux D&D thing. I still have the character concept design for that most important NPC, and I've had the idea swirling around since I was in like high school. I would not mind telling that story or DMing that, but also I don't.
You're still holding out for using that in something.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
definitely- I've got a number of different fucking setting ideas. Get that fucking Mongol Dragonborn, yeah. I had like completely rebuilt the fucking the fucking Mongol Khan era of Kublai Khan, but with Dragonborn. It ruled.
This person is flying an Asp Scout.
So weird. Shit. Looks like a manta ray.
That's the thing, it kind of looks cool, but it's not.
Fair enough. Mario Spin Up.
Oh yeah, some of these things got names.
It's a good one.
But anyway, I think I was planning to launch into an explanation of Fate, but the thing about Fate is I never really got deep into Fate. I got deep into Fae, Fate Accelerated Edition, which seemed a little easier to run, and then I don't think I had a very good time running it, but I think that was because of the players involved at the time, who were not taking it seriously. But the core mechanic of Fate is aspects, which is basically just like you have some numeric stat. Yeah, you have some numeric stats, but 90% of everything is you write a little phrase on a piece of paper and you put it on the table, and then you just like fuck around with that. So like, rather than crunchy little mechanical bonuses or whatever, everyone is accumulating like descriptors and things like that, which seems like it would fit well with a more free form, like I want to define an aspect of my character in a way that is not strictly mechanical.
So like
Yeah, no, I'm starting to remember this now. I hear what you're saying.
I would wanna fuck around with it quite a bit though, because some bits of the game I don't think would be conducive. But it's meant to be very easy to customize as well. I have the Fate toolkit as well, so that might be something we could look into. But yeah, it's something also that we should discuss. And with
You
that,
wanna maybe make a time to do it this Sunday?
that'd be the time for it. We got everyone around.
Hell yeah. Alright, well, I think that is a good note for me to go do other things on, like get ready to go to bed.
Yeah, same. With that last scan, that appears to be, according to my crafting list, that is actually all of the wake data that I need. I can trade for the last 4 for hyperspace trajectories or wake solutions. So that's done. The last thing we need is we need a shitload of niobium, and I have to figure out where to get that. So
That is the
that'll
most
be...
fucking name I've ever heard for a thing. Alright.
Yeah, you remember what we did the last time we saw niobium. We were a very long ways away from where we are, so I'm gonna have to do that off stream probably. So you get some rest. I'm gonna park and end the stream.
Hell yeah. Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Access authorized. Proceed to Bay 3-5. Attention, Commander. You need to reduce your speed.
I will do no such thing. A million words bullshitting about systems and 0 for just my deep fucking ennui.
Docking complete. Engaging docking restraints. It's good to have you with us, Commander.
Well, someone's happy to see me at least. Alright. Let's see here. There we go. Alright. That's that. We've got most of our collecting done. I believe next time we're probably going to be going on a road trip. I have some plans that I've been sitting on for quite a while. Vis-a-vis things to do in this game. There is a task that we never finished that I intend to finish at some point. And on top of that, to get more raw materials, we're gonna have to go a ways out, because y'all remember where those were. This is a bit of a drive, but for a particular unlock, we also need to travel 5,000 light years from our starting system. So I'm gonna be looking for stuff that we might visit that's in the vicinity of that that range. Stuff that's about 5,000 light years out. Take a little bit of a road trip, see the sights, you know? But I'll work on that off stream. For now, oh my god, I am severely dehydrated. I've had so much water today. How did this happen? Horrifying. Anyway, whoever's still awake, thanks for coming by. I suppose anyone who has also fallen asleep watching the stream is also valid. Suppose. But anywho, I think that's gonna be it. And, what do we got? What do we got here? Nobody. Okay. So, I'm not gonna bother raiding or anything. I'm just gonna close it down. So, until next time. I still don't have a catchphrase, but I do have this button I can push. Never forget their brave sacrifice. Also, thanks for the follow, Petroleum Blown Apart. That's a really, really fucking good username. Thanks for joining the convoy. Anyway, later, folks. Bye. Drive safe or unsafe. I don't know. Whichever.